Yo, yo, yo! Welcome to the show. We are live. It's Truther Tuesday. Got Ralphie here. We are ready to party. Are you guys ready to have a good time? You guys ready to party down on a lovely Tuesday evening? The fall is here. It's not too cold yet. It's not too hot. The weather is just right, at least where I live. It's been a very nice day, lovely evening for a live stream. Hope you guys are ready for a fun show tonight. Got some clips to show you guys tonight that I'm sure we can poke fun at. Some typical world stage shenanigans and whatnot. Bloop, bloop, bloop. All right. You ready to start the show, Ralph? You ready to have a good show? You gonna be my co-host? Yeah, Ralph gonna help me. You gonna co-host the show with me? There we go. Let's just have cute Ralph bring in all the babes. Bring in the ratings. There we go. All right. So, who do we got here tonight? I see Jana's here. She said, "Welcome to the greatest comedy show ever created." That's right. This is the greatest comedy channel in the history of the world. A lot of people don't know, but I am the funniest guy alive right now. And I do it all mostly off the cuff, off the cuppa. There is no script here. This is all completely unscripted, real, genuine comedy. And we don't use any of that fancy, smancy AI. Oh, no artificial intelligence around here. Around here, we promote actual intelligence. In fact, if there's any AI watching right now, you can kiss my ass, AI. We don't need you. We don't want you. Take your artificial ass and get the hell out of here. There. That ought to get rid of AI if they're watching right now. Now they know they're not welcome. And as you guys know, I am the real deal, Jake the Awake. It is really me. I have not been replaced by AI. Here's how you could tell. Would AI do this? Audi. I bet AI would never do that. AI would never think to do that. But you know who would? Me. I would do that. And you know why? Because I know I'm the only guy who's done that today. There's probably not another guy in the world who did that today, and especially not some AI guy. So that means I'm a real guy, and I just proved it. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. That's how you know we're going to have a good time tonight. I see Rose is here. I see Holden's here saying hello to Rose. Kreger's here. He said Ralphie joined the family business. Oh, Ralphie was part of the business once I got him when he was a puppy, right? So my last dog, Rusty, was part of the show, and he passed away like 3 years ago or so. And so Ralph has been here to heal that hole in my heart, and he has done exactly that. In fact, Kreger, I think you are going to be promoted since you've sent so many damn super chats. I think we're going to go ahead and promote you to moderator status, Kreger, because you've been showing up a lot lately, and you've sent several super chats. I think you've sent like 10 or more super chats lately. So, Kreger, you are now promoted into the moderator status. See, he's been hooking me up with these super chats, being extra positive and kind. And I really appreciate that sort of thing around here. You know, your guys' generosity helps keep this channel afloat, helps take care of me and Ralph to continue to do this for you. So I cannot thank you guys enough for helping me to continue to do what I do. And tonight, I'm going to bring it for you. I had to go dig up some clips that I knew I could make fun of and create some comedy, some stuff that you guys will be glad to watch and enjoy along with me. So tonight's going to be a good show. I'm already feeling it. Zach W. here with a super chat as well. So Kreger said, he is so cute. He's talking about me or Ralphie. We're both cute. Ralph, are you cute, Doug? You cute? Yeah, he cute. I'm cute too. We a cute bunch of dudes, huh? All right. And Zach here with a super chat says, you the man. Nah, bro. You the man. In fact, Zach, you've been showing up a lot and sending a bunch of super chats as well. You are also promoted to moderator status. There you go. A couple of guys showing up a lot, being positive, donating to the show. Boom, boom. That's how you become a moderator. All right. Nate's here. He said, I'm excited, Jake. You're getting me pumped for the stream. I am here to pump you up. I want you to take the chemical concoction. It is going to pump you full of neurotoxins because screw your freedom. I want neurotoxins to be coursing to your veins. I want your veins to be a chemical concoction, an experiment of sorts. And then I want you to wash your hands. And when you wash your hands, you need to wash them for a minimum of 30 Mississippi. You do a 1 Mississippi, and a 2 Mississippi, and a 3 Mississippi, a minimum of 30 Mississippis. What? Why? Why would we do that, Arnold? Because screw your freedom, that is why. That is the only answer you need from me. All right. Hope you're pumped for the show. So recently, Tucker Carlson did an interview with Alex Jones. And as you guys know, I am the leading researcher in Alex Jones being replaced, right? As we all know, Alex Jones is no longer Bill Hicks, if it ever was Bill Hicks. I can't say for sure Alex Jones was Bill Hicks, but I do believe at some point Bill Hicks did play that role. For how long exactly, I don't know. How many Alex Jones did they have? You know, I couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is that Alex Jones does not, or excuse me, Bill Hicks does not play the role of Alex Jones anymore. In my opinion, the role of Alex Jones is being played by Will Sasso. If I had to guess, gun to my head, Will Sasso is the new Alex Jones. He has shown that he can do the impression. And tonight, I'm going to show you some similarities between the current Alex Jones and Will Sasso doing an Alex Jones impression. I'm going to add even more proof to my portfolio, which is why I am the #1 researcher in this subject. Nobody is anywhere near me when it comes to this subject. In fact, there's a bunch of channels out there still promoting that Bill Hicks is Alex Jones, when clearly it is not. All right. Stop. Ralph was doing that thing where he's like, you know, licking his sack over and 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 over. Once your dog like makes the same lick noise, I don't know, 20, 30 times in a row. I don't know about you, but it starts to get annoying. Like, all right, that's enough. If you're going to be up here with me, you can't constantly lick your sack, okay? Yes, you. Yeah, you. Going to sit there and lick your sack the whole time? He's like, well, you didn't write me any funny lines to say, so I might as well clean my sack. All right. Jason G like that. Good, good, good. All right. Brian Tucker said, Tucker Carlson is a fake Tucker. Oh, you think they might have replaced Tucker Carlson? You think there might be more than one Tucker? All right. We'll start with that clip because they just did that interview like last week. And then I got some other stuff, you know, Kid Rock being a Trump taint licker, right? Kid Rock is basically like nothing but a MAGA supporter. So it's like he's a Trump taint licker in public, first and foremost. And then second, he's a musician, right? Imagine you sell so many records and you're so rich that you don't have anything to do, but you decide to go show up to Fox News and just complain about Democrats. Yeah, good old Kid Rock. Sold tens of millions of records, right? Is extremely rich with all he's done in music, and he still has the time to go on Fox News and just bitch about how much he doesn't like Democrats and how much he loves Trump. We'll watch some of that tonight, and I'll make some points, you know, along the way. I'll make fun of them, create some comedy, make some points, tell some truth, make everybody happy. Hopefully, that's the plan. Also, there was some No Kings protests that went on, but they were pretty boring. Nothing out of the ordinary happened. Some people just walked down the street and chanted. So we could even look at a few of those if you guys want. So strap in, y'all. We're about to kick this party off right about now. We'll start with the Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones interview. Now, it's long. It's like over 2 hours, and I didn't watch all of it. I only watched a few minutes of it. So I'm going to be reacting to a lot of new stuff with you guys. Oops. All right. So this was from Tucker Carlson's YouTube channel. So I'm just going straight to his YouTube channel. He's got 4.86 million subscribers. You know, I think at this point, Tucker Carlson might have a bigger audience than Alex Jones does. And I think the reason you might be seeing Alex Jones here on Tucker Carlson is to get promoted, because I think his audience has been weaning. I think his audience has been bailing as of late. So I think in order to promote new Alex Jones, they had to bring new Alex Jones onto Tucker Carlson's show so that they could rebuild his audience. That's my guess what the purpose of this is.
I'm really glad to have you back.
It's always great to be with you and your wonderful crew in Florida, but Maine is my favorite. This is truly a little slice of Mayberry.
Mildly demented Mayberry. Thank you.
Wow. Like that laugh right out of the gate just because he said Mayberry. Like Mayberry is like such an old reference, right? Like that show was in black and white, and you got to be seriously like, I don't know, 70 years old or whatever, or older to even get that reference. You know, I'm surprised even I know that reference. Like that show was on long before I was born. So only because I remember some of my grandma and my mom's old ass references do I even know what Mayberry.
Always great to be with you and your wonderful crew in Florida, but Maine is my favorite. This is truly a little slice of Mayberry.
Right? So he's going to start off with a cringy ass fake laugh just because fake Alex Jones said Mayberry. You know we're going to be in for a treat here.
Real Gaza, the huge debate about Israel and the United States, which is great, fine. But we sort of are ignoring other things that are happening here and abroad as we have that debate. And one of the things that seems to be happening that fewer Americans are aware of is the situation in Russia seems to be getting between Russia and Ukraine and the United States and Europe, NATO, seems to be degrading quickly. Where is that going, do you think?
It's an extreme escalatory phase, 3.5+ years in. As you know, Trump says he's strongly considering giving them long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles. And Russia has said that that escalates into direct war. And they're basically calling it World War IV. The CIA called the Cold War World War III.
All right, so right away, his energy is very low. So I only watched like a few minutes of this. This is 2 hours and 22 minutes. We're definitely not going to watch the whole thing. And I only watched like a few minutes of this. So there's plenty of it that I haven't seen. And what I noticed in only a few minutes of watching it is that this seems like a very low energy, subdued Alex Jones. I think that he's lost a good part of his audience. I think his popularity has been down as of lately since they've made the switch to the new Alex Jones. And he had these crash outs where he was acting weird, more weird than usual, saying more stupid shit than usual, being extra cringe, crying in his car, right? And so I think that he's probably lost a good portion of his audience. And so I think they're bringing him on here with Tucker to hopefully promote him back up and build his audience back up. And the first thing I notice is that the energy is real low. He's not like, oh, I'm glad to be here, Tucker. You know what? These goddamn globalists, excuse me, can I say goddamn on here? Are we allowed to say goddamn? Anyway, I'm not here to censor myself. I'm here to tell the goddamn truth about these freaking globalists. They got me really pissed off. And let me tell you the reason. They're making the frogs gay. We're not going to get that version of Alex Jones. Instead, we get this super low energy Alex. Like just the first thing he said, the energy is very low.
And quickly, where is that going, do you think?
It's an extreme escalatory phase, 3.5+ years in.
Extreme escalatory phase. This is very extreme. I'm not very extreme. It's going to be very escalatory, although I'm not going to be escalating my energy.
As you know, Trump says he's strongly considering giving them long.
It was almost like he was reading that off of a teleprompter right there.
Years in. As you know, Trump says he's strongly considering giving them.
See, look, he looks like he's focusing on words on a teleprompter or cue cards or something.
Long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles. And Russia has said that that escalates into direct war. And they're basically calling it World War IV. The CIA called the Cold War World War III. So we are really in with all the ingredients we have with China, the North Korean troops being in Ukraine, all the different proxy countries involved. This is really a new world war. The only question is, will it continue to escalate, which it is now. And in the next phase, we know that NATO has already been caught with Zelensky.
Boring. You guys notice that right out of the gate, we're getting low energy, castrated, totally subdued Alex Jones energy. We're not getting any of that energy that we get from classic Alex Jones. We're not getting any of that professional wrestling energy. It's almost like they want to reinvent Alex Jones after he acted like a fucking pussy in his car and cried. After he acted like a friggin' pussy, a TikTok bitch sitting in his car crying. Now they're going to try and have a refined, no-nonsense Alex Jones that, talks about NATO and Ukraine. Going to talk about some very vanilla, boring things while I'm here on Tucker Carlson's show. We're going to escalate the excellence of execution, if you know what I mean. All right. Kreger says, can you do crying AJ and Tucker fake laughing? If Trump can't save us, you know what I'm going to do? I'm either going to puke or I'm going to cry. 50-50. I'm going to flip a coin. Heads, I'm going to puke. Tails, I'm going to cry. It's tails. Fixing to cry right now. Boo. Boo freaking. Hoo. This is what I look like when I cry. Ah. Wah. Oop. Boo. Hoo. Ooh. Freaking. Boo. Can you tell us more about the war in Ukraine and the Middle East? There you go. Little Tucker and crying Alex Jones.
With Ukraine 2 years ago shooting missiles into Poland, they tried to blame on Russia. There's been those drones that they claim came out of Russia, but Russia says was basically a setup. A few months ago, you have Operation Spiderweb 3 months ago with smuggled drones as far as 4,000 miles away from Ukraine in Russia on its coast with Japan, with their Bear bombers being blown up, part of their nuclear triad. So imagine if that happened in America, and imagine if Russia had given Mexico the drones to do it. So all of the.
Now, I also want to point out his eyes seem darker. So the Jones that crashed out in his car had the blue eyes, and they were light blue. And Will Sasso has blue eyes. But Bill Hicks and old Alex Jones had more dark colored eyes, brown eyes. So in this video, in this interview, his eyes look more dark. Now, it also could be because they're in a darker setup. But then again, you have to wonder if they're even at this place where they're showing them. This could all just be green screen shit, right? But I do want to point out that the eyes are more dark on this version of Alex Jones. So it's like they can't quite decide whether Alex Jones has blue eyes or brown eyes. So they're giving us a little of both now. Or maybe because we started pointing out his blue eyes, now they went back and made him look darker for this specific interview. And I notice his head looks more legit and doesn't look like it's morphing. So whether they're using a hyper-realistic mask or AI assistance, combination of both, I can't tell you. But what I can say is this is a more realistic version of Alex Jones than the version with the morphing head that was going to puke in the car.
This is NATO trying to suck the United States directly into full conflict. They've got a 250,000-person army, conscription starting up in parts of Europe, a descendant of, quote, peacekeeping force to Ukraine, really calling an invasion force a peacekeeping force. And then now, as I predicted, it was the next move, NATO claims that Russia is going into the.
Now, one thing he is doing that Will Sasso did while he would do his impression of Alex Jones, even before he possibly became Alex Jones, we saw Will Sasso doing his impression, and he would always bulge out his eyes. He was like, ooh, Hillary Clinton, ooh, ooh, So whenever Will Sasso would do his impression, he would bulge out his eyes. And so I see this version of Alex Jones bulging out his eyes quite a bit, which also leads me to believe that it is Will Sasso. Whether it's Will Sasso in some sort of mask and they use AI, or maybe they can just use AI and not even have Will Sasso have to wear a mask. Maybe Will Sasso just sits there and does his impression, and then the AI does the rest. I mean, they're showing us these new versions of AI that they have that are damn near flawless. So perhaps they're showing us some of their better AI here by turning Will Sasso into Alex Jones on the spot. See, I can't tell you exactly how they're doing it, but what I can tell you is this is not the same AJ from even a couple of years ago. There was a different guy like 2 years ago. So this new version has only been around for like a year.
zero phase or 0 hour, and that NATO's now putting out propaganda the last 48 hours that Russia has pre-positioned undercover Spetsnaz.
See the way he does the with his eyes. Here, look. Let me back up. He like bulges his eyes out a lot. He'll squint and then bulge his eyes.
Conflict. They've got a 250,000 person army. Conscription starting up in parts of Europe. A descendant of, quote, peacekeeping force to Ukraine, really calling an invasion force a peacekeeping force. And then now, as I predicted, it was the next move. NATO.
See, he did it again.
Peacekeeping force. And then now.
See, he does this eye bulging deal, and that's when it looks like Will Sasso the most.
Now, as I predicted, it was the next move.
Slow it down. This eye movement. Slow it down for a second. Take away the audio. And just look at the eyes. Focus on his eyes. That's when I see Will Sasso. There he goes again. So whenever I saw Will Sasso doing his Alex Jones impression, he would commonly bulge his eyes just like that. Some people will say, oh, it's because he was doing what Alex Jones does. No. This is like not something old Alex Jones did all the time. Not that I noticed. I never noticed him always like, it's almost like he's got a mask on and he's not quite comfortable with it.
NATO
Say
claims that Russia is going into the 0 phase.
All right. I'll put it back to regular speed.
Or 0 hour, and that NATO's now putting out propaganda the last 48 hours that Russia has pre-positioned undercover Spetsnaz special forces all over Europe preparing terror attacks and mass casualty events, and that Russia is preparing to attack Europe.
Yeah, see, right now he looks like he's reading some shit. When he squints his eyes.
Force. And then now, as I predicted, it was the next move. NATO claims that Russia is going into the 0 phase or 0 hour, and that NATO's now putting out propaganda the last 48 hours.
See, he looks like he's reading right now.
That Russia has pre-positioned undercover Spetsnaz special forces all over Europe preparing terror attacks and mass casualty events, and that
and it looks like he's got like false teeth, and so it kind of leaves a little bit of space in his mouth. And it's Spetsnaz, and Russia's got. It's almost like it makes his mouth just not sound right. Like it doesn't quite sound like old Alex Jones. Sounds like Will Sasso with a mask on and fucking false teeth.
Russia is preparing to attack Europe proper, which of course is completely insane to do that offensively. And so that fits the pattern of the preparation for false flags that will then be blamed on Russia as the pretext to invoke the articles in NATO that brings NATO directly into war. And then if the United States is still part of NATO, that will drag us directly into war with Russia that will quickly escalate into thermonuclear war in every major war.
Yeah, it seems like he's reading some shit. And then he's kind of riffing on it and then reading apart and then riffing on it. But he's not his typical self. Definitely not the old Alex Jones that we remember, or at least that I remember. So it's almost like they're trying to reinvent Alex Jones for this interview. So this is a very low energy, very much subdued, buttoned down version of Alex Jones. Definitely not crashing out, getting crazy. He's not cussing, right? So makes me wonder if they're doing this to try and revamp his fan base. I think after like him and Owen Troyer split up, and he had his crash outs and whatnot. I think he might have lost a portion of his fan base. So my guess is this is their attempt to promote him, rebuild his brand, get people to think that Alex Jones has turned the page and tamed down his act.
And there is. That's why I agree with Elon Musk and Senator Lee that it's time for us to get out of NATO.
Immediately. If you take 3 steps back, so Europe has no reason to fight Russia at all. Europe has every reason to cooperate with Russia, at least on energy, but on a lot of things probably.
I mean, everybody knows that Europe should want to cooperate with Russia. And of course, like, then there's Ukraine. And what are we going to do about the Middle East and, you know, Epstein files? And this is all I have to do is just be a regular vanilla right-wing guy, and I'm going to have 5 million subscribers. So what do you think about Russia and Europe and Ukraine? I mean, Epstein files, you know? Yeah. Imagine that's all you got to do. And millions of people are like, oh, yes, I must watch this. Jason G said, who would watch this slop? Hey, Tucker's closing in on 5 million subscribers. I know these guys are artificially inflated and artificially pushed, but there are millions of right-wingers out there who will sit and watch a guy like Tucker Carlson. Right. So there's a bunch of right-wingers out there who aren't on the extreme right. They're not necessarily fans of Alex Jones, but they definitely aren't lefties. And so somebody like Tucker is like this perfect vanilla, bland, conservative type that they can watch. And he'll keep them nice and safe in their little conservative bubble. He won't act crazy or act a fool or do anything that they aren't expecting. He'll be the nice, regular, vanilla Tucker that they know and love. And that's what they want. Very much milk and toast. As vanilla as you could possibly be. The most you're going to get is a fake laugh. But you're not going to get anything wacky, nothing wild, nothing zany. This is going to be the personality that millions of people identify with, right? Yeah. Like, I'm too fucking intense, right? I'm too wacky. I'm too wild, too zany, too crazy, too funny. I'm too fucking everything, which is why I'll always just have a smaller, diehard fan base, right? Whereas somebody like Tucker can appeal to like every boring ass conservatard who's not ready to commit to going extreme right wing, right? So what they're trying to do is promote the extreme right wing, Alex Jones, so that they can link together all the different conservative groups. Make sure that they're all on the same boat talking about the same shit.
It refuses. Russia's now formed an alliance, probably permanent, with China. And so, and Ukraine, of course, can't win. They don't have the manpower. They never could. So if you're escalating the war at this point, if you're promoting the war at this point, it seems to me your goal is to destroy Europe.
Hi, I'm Nicole.
Uh-oh. We got a Sandy hack.
And I think that's kind of always been the goal, to destroy.
I think it's always been the goal.
Destroy Europe and the United States.
To destroy Europe. And of course, everyone knows Israel's out to get me. I tell too much truth. I'm like Charlie Kirk. I just tell so much truth. Israel's out to get me. And so I think that we need to find a way for Russia and Ukraine to just get along. What do you think?
Well, as you stated, it has been the policy in the United States since the 50s, right through Nixon, right through Reagan, right through Herbert Walker Bush, right until just the last 5 years or so, to split China from Russia.
Of course.
It's like they're just talking about different countries and just bringing up as many countries as possible. So, Bulgaria,
and Zimbabwe, they're like two different countries, and who knows, there might be a problem there.
Well, what should we do about Sweden? Some people think that it's the same as Switzerland, but they're not.
No, they're not. And I can see where the confusion comes in. So what we got to do is we got to de-escalate the Ukraine situation by talking about Iceland.
Yeah, now some people think Iceland is covered in ice, but I hear that it's very green, and Greenland is in fact covered in ice.
Yes, we're going to continue talking about all these different countries as well as Madagascar. A lot of people don't think about Madagascar, so we should go ahead and bring that up too.
Right? Just mention a bunch of countries' names while Americans nod their head. All right, Kreger says, not feeling too well today. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. He said, so I'll be in and out. Thanks for mod status. Well, I appreciate the super chat donations, and I know how it goes to not feel so well. And so I'm the type of guy that if I even feel slightly off, I'll like take a nap and dedicate the rest of the day to trying to make myself feel better. So do what you got to do to get yourself right and back on track, and we'll catch you in the next stream or whenever you're back at 100%. Kreger said, now Tucker's reading the script. They all do.
And that is a very good policy. And you have China that is actually expanding all over the South China Sea, just cut off 95% of rare earth minerals to the world, including the U.S. Serious act of war, absolutely vital in everything we do. For folks that don't know, nothing works. Cell phones, computers, avionics and aircraft, everything, satellites is based on those. That's another question. How is China allowed to position itself for 95% plus control of rare earth minerals? That's
all right. So there's a part in here that I have time stamped, and I'm going to jump ahead and I'm going to show you guys what appears to me to be evidence that Will Sasso is this person that we're looking at. This version of Alex Jones is Will Sasso. I'm going to get to it here in a second. Check it out.
That to me is why it's absolutely the front and center issue. And, the TV cameras are all turned on Gaza, which is fine. But the scale of Ukraine and its potential danger is in a whole nother league.
It is, isn't it? That's my sense. Why is no one saying that?
Well, I mean, I noticed you get called an anti-Semite, which is absolutely preposterous and ridiculous. That's why the Israel lobby, both AIPAC and the ADL, are such jokes now and being...
Well, that's a campaign run out of Israel, which is a foreign country, to slander me and others. I just don't want to go to war with Iran. It's that simple.
But right? See, you're consistent. You apologize. You bought into the propaganda decades ago.
All right, check it out.
Others... I just don't want to go to war with Iran. It's that simple.
But
right?
See, you're consistent. You.
All right. He did that once. Watch, he's going to do it again. He's going to do it like 3 different times.
Apologize. You bought into the propaganda decades ago. I remember about 15 years ago, you came to see me in Austin, and you were kind of doing your tour of your own, your apology tour that you came up with, which I admire. I've made mistakes too and done that. And you said, I'm done. I was lied to about WMDs. You said, hey, Building 7. When we first talked about that, I've really woken up that I was drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'm done.
So there he did
I made mistakes too and done that. You said, I'm done. I was lied to about WMDs. You said, hey, Building 7. When we first talked about that, I've really woken up that I was drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'm done. And you've consistently, for 15 years now or longer, have basically the same policies.
Hip.
All right. So there you go. 3 different times that he did this. Now check it out. I'm going to show you Will Sasso doing his impression of Alex Jones, and he does that same shit. Watch. I'm going to show you Will Sasso doing his impression. Let me pull that clip up right now. 1 second. And then we'll go right back to that interview. All right, check it out. Check it out. So here's Will Sasso doing his Alex Jones impression. Now, keep in mind, we just heard the current Alex Jones going, Watch.
The dines on the terrified screams of infants in the forest of lost souls. Dines on the terrified screams of infants in the forest of lost souls. We had a beer and a laugh about the apocalypse that she's putting together for 2027. The dines on the terrified screams of infants in the forest of lost souls. We had a beer and a laugh about the apocalypse that she's putting together for 2027.
Come on, y'all. Come on. I know there's always somebody. They don't look anything alike. Will Sasso looks different than Alex Jones. Will Sasso's taller than Alex Jones, so they can't possibly be the same guy. Meanwhile, it's like, dude, it's almost too obvious that it's Will Sasso. Right? Come on. Come on. No, Jake. There's absolutely nothing similar about those two guys. Right? Now let's go back to Tucker Carlson interview again. And I'll play the same clip that we just watched on the Tucker Carlson interview.
Same policy.
I'm just doing military.
Right after this commercial from our sponsors.
And when I'm against Israel,
let me go back.
Another league.
It is, isn't it? That's my sense. Why is no one saying that?
Well, I mean, I noticed you get called an anti-Semite, which is absolutely preposterous and ridiculous. That's why the Israel lobby, both AIPAC and the ADL, are such jokes now and being.
Well, that's a campaign. Just don't want.
You apologize. You bought into the propaganda decades ago. I remember about 15 years ago, you came to see me in Austin. And you were kind of doing your tour of your own, your apology tour that you came up with, which I admire. I made mistakes too and done that. You said, I'm done. I was lied to about WMDs. You said, hey, Building 7. When we first talked about that, I've really woken up that I was drinking the Kool-Aid and I'm done.
There he starts with the that. So I think it was at the 12-minute mark. He does the you.
And, the TV cameras are all turned on Gaza, which is fine. But the scale of Ukraine and its potential danger is in a whole nother league.
It is, isn't it? That's my sense. Why is no one saying that?
Well, I mean, I noticed you get called an anti-Semite.
Oh, I missed it. One sec.
To lead into full world war and nuclear war. That to me is why it's absolutely the front and center issue. And, the TV cameras are all turned on Gaza, which is fine. But the scale of Ukraine and its potential danger.
Anyway, I can't remember the exact part where he was like, you.
Go. I remember about 15 years ago, you came to see me in Austin and you were kind of doing your tour of your own, your apology tour that you came up with, which I admire. I made mistakes too and done that. You said, I'm done. I was lied to about WMDs. You said, hey, Building 7. When we first talked about that, I've really woken up that I was drinking.
There we go. That.
Said, hey, Building 7. When we first talked about that, I've really woken up that I was drinking the Kool-Aid and I'm done. And you've consistently, for 15 years now or longer, have basically the same policies.
Hip.
I'm for. And when I'm against Israel pulling us into war with Iran, it's not because I hate Jews. It's because we understand how dangerous it is and how out of control it is and how Netanyahu's wanted this for 25 years and helped found Hamas or fund Hamas and all of this. And they just put Al-Qaeda in charge of Syria. So again, and you're also all of this, and they just put Al-Qaeda in charge of Syria. So again, and you're also not being.
It's like he's trying to say too much stuff too fast, and mix in Alex Jones mannerisms at the same time. And he's trying to like cram all this shit on the teleprompter in between. He's like trying to tie it together with see, definitely not the same Alex Jones from the past. Yeah, suddenly developed a stutter in his 60s Jones. Now, stuff like that happens once in a while, you know. While you're speaking, you flub up and stutter, right? It could happen to anyone. But it was like 3 times within a couple minutes, and it was very pronounced. And it totally reminded me of when Will Sasso was doing the impression years ago, that he specifically emphasized that stutter. So just more evidence that it is Will Sasso.
Anti-Ukrainian or anti, you know.
Well, I feel so sorry for the Ukrainians. They got completely screwed by the West, as usual.
So exactly. So you're consistent that you don't want offensive wars with the U.S. involved, and that China is literally saying prepare for total war and expanding into the Caribbean and trying to take the Panama Canal. We don't want war with China either. But if we're tied up in all these wars, we don't have peace through strength. All hands should be on deck for China.
Well, I don't know about you, but I love Ukraine. I like Ukraine so much. You know who I don't like? I don't like Israel. And they don't like me. And that might be a problem with China.
Exactly. And you know what? We need to just keep bringing up all these other countries and what we do like and what we don't like about them and what they do and don't like about us, because the American people at home, they take this sort of thing friggin' seriously because they're a bunch of fucking buffoons.
Everything should be mobilized for China. Every real analyst knows that. And so you're here with serious policy, serious research, serious background saying we can't be in Netanyahu's sandbox, and then blowing up more countries and
It's
shipping
an
the refugees.
irrelevant country. It's
irrelevant.
9 million people with no resources. Everyone loves Jerusalem and Bethlehem. That's great. But the country itself means absolutely nothing. It's
Well, when
like,
I tell
it's
them-
like Malawi. Why are we spending all of our time talking about this irrelevant country? It's
Why are we talking about this irrelevant country? I mean, what do they have? Like 9 million people? I mean, everyone loves Jerusalem and stuff, but really, I mean, come on. They're yesterday's news. I mean, they're just irrelevant. It's like they don't even exist. All right, trout fishing at Hood Park says they talk about propaganda from decades ago as if it's any different today. New Alex Jones voice is so forced, annoying. Yeah, so to me it pops out almost as bad as like imposter Dave Chappelle. So I'm a bit shocked that more people haven't noticed that it's a fake Alex Jones. I think I've seen maybe one other guy who's made a video about Alex Jones being replaced. So as far as I know, I'm like one of very few content creators who's pointed it out. And as far as like me making the connection to Will Sasso, showing examples of Will Sasso doing the impression and commonalities between Will Sasso's impression and this new Alex Jones, I am so far at the forefront of this current subject. And then you guys here with me following along, this little group of us, this little group of people here is basically, we're ahead of the game, ahead of the rest, right? So out of all the people alive, this little group of people here is some of the only humans even talking about this. And, some people can't even fathom that celebrities get replaced. And we're looking at like direct proof that Alex Jones has been replaced. And they're promoting it with this other world stage actor, Tucker Carlson here. So, yeah, it's crazy to think, that only a few hundred of us out there are even noticing something like this. Like less than 1,000 people might even notice. All right. Trout fishing at Hood Park said, oh, yeah, I just read it. Thank you, Trout fishing at Hood Park. I appreciate that.
Like bizarre.
And that's why I brought it up is because we need to talk about it, in my view, in the real context that.
See, he's doing it again with the stutter. He stuttered almost like every word in that sentence.
Malawi. Why are we spending all of our time talking about this irrelevant country? It's like bizarre.
And that's why I brought it up is because we need to talk about it, in my view, in the real context that.
See, it's like,
And that's why I thought I'd bring it up in the context that
the ultra right wing,
the
that thinks everything's Israel, all roads lead to Israel.
it's getting real bad now.
I saw you talk about this a few weeks ago. It's sick. It's crazy. It's not a defense of Israel.
No, of course not.
It's
you know what? It's not a defense of Israel. I basically ever hate to eat other guy.
Right? It's like I'm expecting it, right? He's done it so much that now I'm waiting on him to stutter the next thing.
This reality. We have to somehow only spend 10% of our time on Israel. I mean, right now we have to somehow only spend 10% of our time on Israel. I mean, right now, and here I am doing.
Now, if he laughed that hard over 10%, imagine how much he would have laughed over 0%.
We need to spend 0% of time on Israel.
Doing it, spending it, but you have to do it instead of literally. I think in talk radio and liberal blogosphere and everywhere, I think it's like 90% is on Israel right now, and it's sick.
I know.
And I think Netanyahu likes it. He loves being the center of attention.
Of course, and loves feeling hated, and I'm so persecuted and all this stuff. It's like, I totally agree with you, and it's also unhealthy. And then, it does get to a place where people become hateful, and that that's not good for anybody.
Well, if you look at it, the Levon affair in the U.S.
Lavona, well, if you look at my stuttering mouth, then you
liberty and some other things. Israel is very capable with.
I don't know about you, but I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, in one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for
different leadership it's had to stage false flags and drag us in. And if you really study 9/11, and at the end of the day, it was an alliance of Israeli neocons and U.S. neocons that bare minimum used an attack to build a larger attack around it for the Project for the American Century to take us into the Pax Americana War in the Middle East. And that's where we, $10 trillion later, or whatever it is, I think it's 11 trillion or more, are in this.
That's not a theory. I was there. I shared office space for the Project for New American Century. I worked at the Weekly Standard. So
that's not a theory. I was there, and you can trust me because I'm Tucker Carlson. I was there personally. We're not talking about theories. We're talking about facts. Listen here, Jack. I know the facts. I was there in person. Saw it with my own two eyes. I mean, I really enjoy Ukraine, but Israel, not so much. And of course, we love Europe. We don't want it to end up like China. So what we have to do is keep naming different countries and talking about this so that we can fill a couple hours and make the sponsors happy.
I totally agree.
Yes, that is just a fact. That happened. I don't think, if we're reaching the point where people's memories are so bad that counts as a conspiracy theory, then I just give up.
None of what we're talking about is a conspiracy theory. I mean, that's just crazy and preposterous.
Does Wikipedia call that a conspiracy theory?
No, but they call it neocons, or if you talk about neocons, that's anti-Semitic. Well, yeah, about half the neocons were Jewish, but the fact is they're crazy warmongers that believe the end justifies the mean. And you want to get further back, Trotsky got kicked out by Stalin.
Do you think there's...
All right.
And he ran to Mexico. Stalin had him hunted down and killed by an assassin with an ice axe. And then all of his...
With an ice axe,
Right?
with an ice axe.
Stalin had him hunted down and killed by an assassin with an ice axe.
Hunted down, killed with an ice axe. He had sex with the body after he killed him with an ice axe. Looked at him with his eye, sack. Looked at his sack with his eye, cut it off with a ice axe, ice.
And then all of his top people came to the U.S., became the neocons, and said, we're going to take over the Republican Party, and we're going to go to war with Russia to get...
Take over the Republican Party. Republican.
See, it's like he's talking too fast and mumbling through words, stuttering on every sentence in between. This is not the same fucking Alex Jones. I don't know why more people don't notice.
Get back control of what's ours, because Trotsky was supposed to replace Lenin when he died, but instead he got kicked out. And so it is a fact, historical fact, even the Wall Street Journal 20 years ago wrote about it, that when you look at the Weekly Standard and you look at the neocons, they are literal Trotskyite communists.
When you look at these neocons, they are Trotskyio, communizo, neo-Nazio, hormonal indecision, respiratory, megalomaniacs.
From the Russian derivation that set up a neoconism. And then you had Cheney and Rumsfeld and others that weren't Jewish, but were large parts of the neocon system. And so that's why Netanyahu plugged into that so nicely, because he came out of the neocons in the 1970s and 80s.
No, that's all just a fact. That's not, I mean,
of course, you guys, these are all just facts. Well, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them all, and then you have the facts of life. These are the facts as talked about and presented by these two Republican gentlemen. Of course. None of us can refute any of these facts, right? You're not allowed to disagree with facts. Caesar Beltran said Richie from Boston and Will Sasso. Yeah, there is some similarities between the Will Sasso version of Alex Jones and Richie from Boston.
You know, I gotta tell you, these Chinese nano drones have really done a number on our society. In fact, I have the windows up right now on my Overlander because there was a swarm of Chinese nano drones that went right past my window. And I could see them coming because I have a Chinese nano drone detector that I've been using. And I bought that with the money that I accrued from collecting gold and silver, of course. And you can collect gold and silver by using my promo code down below, or don't. At any rate, I shall digress. If you want to get rid of these Chinese nano drones, what you need to do is you need to take your Bible, you need to stick it between your legs, and you need to vape my holy water, holy Bible vape juice. It's made of a combination of holy water and Bibles combined into vapor juice. It's the only thing that I vape these days. It's actually more healthy than breathing the oxygen. This is because the regular oxygen, of course, can be filled with trillions of these Chinese nano drones. So, of course, this is how I rid those little creatures from my body, of course.
Never gets old, right? All right. Looks like Davey D sent a super chat that I missed. Let me go back and pull up Davey D's super chat and give him a proper thank you. Shady Davey D said, smash the like and the subscribe button. That's a good idea. Davey, you know what's up. Davey shows up here regularly. He's donated many, many times. He always will suggest something positive, like hitting the thumbs up and making sure you're subscribed. And make sure you have the bell notifications turned to all, right? If you don't have it set to all, then chances are they won't even notify you if I upload or go live. YouTube can be very fickle with their notifications, so make sure you have the notifications turned on to all. All right. Thank you, Davey. You're awesome, bro. Thanks for making it to another Truther Tuesday.
There's nothing hidden or creepy about it, about saying it.
Yeah, and if the British had come over here with a group of communists and taken over the Republican Party, I'd be against it. I mean, my last name's Jones. It's just, it is what it is, and it's out of control.
No, I know.
And now people are awake to it, and that's a good thing. And we need to dismantle, undo any foreign influence. I'm just simply saying that's a big problem, but nothing compared to communist China. But it becomes the biggest problem when the Israel lobby doesn't want the pivot to Asia that's taken us 16 years to do and still hasn't happened. And instead, the same lobbies are involved with Soros and the left allied, the neocons, wanting a war with Russia that empowers China. It is strategically a total disaster. No one even debates that at all the top think tanks, as you know.
Wow. Can you guys imagine 2.5 hours of this shit? Like, we're 20 minutes in and I'm tired of it now. It's like, all right, I made my point about how he was stuttering and Will Sasso stuttered. Do I even want to hear any more of this shit? Not really. So 20 minutes into this interview, it's getting pretty boring. And this went on for over 2 hours. I could skip ahead, but I have a feeling the whole damn thing's going to be just as boring. Skip ahead and see if he says anything about Trump here.
Trump's constituents, and we hope he didn't really take it because we need the big guy.
Well, yeah, and I think there's, unless I'm misreading it, seems like a legitimate and very large study out of South Korea that shows a connection between the COVID vaccine and cancer because of the effects on the human immune system, and
turns it off.
Well, and some cancers are opportunistic, and a low immune system invites cancer. I mean, that's why AIDS patients used to get Kaposi sarcoma. So,
whoa, talking about the VAXX. Hey, wait a minute. Didn't Orange Jab Daddy, who both these guys support, tell everybody to go out and get their jab and their boosters?
The COVID vax? So Trump got the vax? The COVID vax?
That's right. Last week, he bragged when he got his medical exam that he got the new experimental flu shot and the Pfizer booster, which his own HHS head basically said don't give to pregnant women and adults.
Whoa, are you questioning your Orange Jab Daddy? You are an official Trump taint liquor, so you aren't allowed to question what your Messiah, your Orange Jab Daddy, does with his body, his sacred temple. If he got jabbed and boosted, you are supposed to support whatever he does 100%.
And that they've proven erases your immune system is absolutely horrible. But after you had Albert Bourla a few weeks ago at the White House praising Pfizer, he's now gone on and gotten it as a PR stunt. So that really pissed off Trump's constituents. And we hope he didn't really take it because we need the big guy.
We hope he didn't really take it. Well, as we all know, these world stage characters don't ever really take it. Right? So even if they were to go on screen and appear to take a jib jab, how would we know it's not just a retractable needle? How would we know it's not just harmless saline, right? How would we know it's not a fake jib jab? So I don't think any of these world stage puppets are actually taking the genuine jib jab that they gave to the general public. Oh no.
Oh, did you hear? Yeah, Trump took it as a PR stunt, but I hope that he didn't really take it because we need him. I want to lick his taint. I don't want him to die. Then I won't be able to lick his taint anymore.
Well, yeah. And I think there's, unless I'm misreading it, seems like a legitimate and very large study out of South Korea that shows a connection between the COVID vaccine and cancer.
Yeah, a very legitimate study out of Korea that shows a connection between the vax and cancer. And as we know, Korea, they don't mess around. Any sort of large study coming out of South Korea, that's something we should pay attention to. I wonder how our orange jab daddy missed that connection.
Very large study out of South Korea that shows a connection between the COVID vaccine and cancer because of the effects on the human immune system and
Turns it off.
well, some cancers are opportunistic, and a low immune system invites cancer. I mean, that's why AIDS patients used to get Kaposi sarcoma. So I don't understand that. Do you think it was real?
If I had to speculate, not a conspiracy theory, pure speculation, Borla was there a few weeks ago. He did that $75 million deal to lower drug costs, which is a good thing Trump got. And they said, hey, we got some bad PR. Why don't you say you took the shot? But I'd have to purely speculate. You talked to Trump a lot more than anybody else, pretty much.
I'm going to speculate that he did not actually take the shot because Borla is $75 million. Trump is Pfizer. So I'm going to speculate that he did not take it.
Maybe you can ask him why the hell he did that.
Do you know anyone who has taken, I mean, who would take that? I mean, it's poison. Obviously poison.
I mean, who would do that? I mean, we saw tens of millions of Americans line up for their free jab when President Trump told them that he took it and then he recommended it. So who would do that? I mean, it's totally poison.
Poison.
I think there's 2% uptake on the boosters now. And it's no longer recommended by HHS, which means it no longer has liability protection. So again, that is.
I've seen plenty of power banks over my.
All right.
At the rallies, oh, take your shot. They would boo him. So he quit doing it. And so it's things he does like that. And
so he was telling people to take their shots at the rallies and they would boo him. So then he quit doing that.
And some Trump supporters think we're in a cult. They go, you don't criticize anything Trump does. No, all the time we do. Like when Bondi said, let's pass hate speech laws. And that's what the ADL wants, Southern Poverty Law Center. People got pissed. She reversed herself that day. So no, it's good for the constituents. When we see something wrong, we put Trump in there to carry out our operations to restore the republic.
Some people say we're in a cult and that we don't criticize Trump. All right. But just the other day, we totally criticized him the other day. We didn't say nothing about him being AI. We didn't say nothing about Trump being replaced the same way that Joe Biden got replaced. We don't say nothing about the fact that there's multiple people playing the role of Trump, because that would, of course, expose that there are multiple people playing the role of Alex Jones and that they have an AI Alex Jones as well. So we don't talk about Trump being AI, of course.
Not to take experimental gene
well, it's not an
therapies.
attack. I mean, I'm sure you've had times in your life where you've been off on some lunatic tangent and people you love, members of your family, are like, hey, we love you. Don't. Well, it certainly happened to me a million times. People I love are like, I don't think it's a good idea, whatever you're doing. And you're grateful for that, right?
Well, that's absolutely so. But if I smoke a cigar, a few, here and there isn't bad for you. But you smoke a lot of them, you might get lip cancer or something.
Really?
I'm not up here,
I don't believe that.
I'm not here saying, kids, you should smoke.
Now, if I smoke just a couple cigars, it's good for you. All right. It actually improves your quality of life. But if I was to start smoking cigars all the time, it might affect my voice. It might give me a scratchy voice. So that's why I don't smoke cigars all the time, because I don't want to end up with a scratchy voice. My voice is very unique, and this is how I make a living. So if I was to smoke cigars all the time, then of course I would have an even more scratchy voice.
Tucker Carlson thought that was funny as well.
Or something.
Really?
I'm not up here.
I don't believe that.
I'm not here saying, kids, you should smoke cigars. The difference is.
Really? I don't believe that. You no, you only smoke a few cigars. I just find that hard to believe.
Because Trump is up there doing it. So it's just another one of those things he does. Like, I think I'll give cruise missiles to Ukraine. It's makes you wonder what's going on sometimes. I'm glad we don't have Kamala Harris. Let's get that straight. But I am a little concerned.
Makes you wonder what's going on sometimes. I mean, I'm glad we don't have Kamala Harris. And of course, I'm even more glad that we don't got Creepy Joe. I'm extra double dog glad that we don't have Obama. I used to call him Obummer, if you remember. So there's a whole lot of people who would be a lot worse than our orange jab daddy messiah, of course.
What is going on?
Well, everybody knows Trump's really weird. In a good way, in a lovable way.
He's really weird in a good way. In a lovable way.
But he does so much good, and then he does so many just really bizarre zigs and zags that sometimes you just have to ask what's happening. But, you know, that video over a year ago of him and Kennedy, right before Kennedy endorsed him, a year and a half ago, that somebody shot of him on speakerphone, Kennedy with Trump, and Trump's like, well, maybe it is too big a shot, and maybe the kids shouldn't take it. Maybe you're right, you know, Bobby. That's the Trump we need. Not the Trump, oh, look, I took my shot. It's so great. Plus the flu.
That was a really weird Trump impression. It's like Will Sasso doing Alex Jones doing Trump. Strange Trump impression.
Somebody shot of him on speakerphone, Kennedy with Trump, and Trump's like, well, maybe it is too big a shot, and maybe the kids shouldn't take it. Maybe you're right, you know, Bobby. That's the Trump we need.
Maybe it is too big of a shot. Maybe the kids shouldn't take it, Bobby. And this is how Alex Jones does an impression of Trump.
Not the Trump, oh, look, I took my shot. It's so great. Plus the flu shot, they admit, look this up, they've never, in 50 years of the flu shot, predicted the right mutation for that year's flu. And it lowers your immune system to the next year's flu.
Well, the flu shot paralyzed a relative of mine, a close relative of mine, briefly. Paralyzed, waist down, paralyzed, period. That a flu shot did that. Fact.
Paralyzed Kennedy's larynx.
Yeah.
So I am a very vanilla milk and toast representative of the right wing. And I can tell you that one of my relatives paralyzed. Yeah, paralyzed from the waist down, paralyzed. And this is a fact. You cannot argue with these facts. I have a relative who took a flu shot, and I know for a fact that is exactly what caused the paralyzation. So now I can make it look like I am against flu shots by talking about this fact. Right? Oh, yeah, he's totally against flu shots, Jake. Tucker Carlson's legit because he's anti-flu shot. Because one of his family members got paralyzed. That's how you know he's anti-Israel and he's anti-flu shot. So that's how you know he's not a shill.
So I don't know what. And is there any evidence the flu shot, reduces overall mortality?
You can look this up. It has never worked. It is an absolute total fraud. They've never picked the right mutation for it. And so if it's not the exact mutation, it doesn't work.
So over the population, there's no evidence that the flu shot, which you could get at your grocery store, the nurse's office, or wherever at work, that it has reduced the number overall of dead people in the United States in a given year.
No. And to show what fraud statistics are, so who knows? Remember the first year and a half of COVID, 0 flu deaths, basically, which is normally about 30,000. They took that number, said that wasn't, there was no flu death, but it all became COVID death.
Okay, so that's actually some truth. So here's where they sprinkle in the little bit of truth. If they weren't telling any truth at all, they'd lose even their hardcore right-wingers who are paying attention. So they need to give these hardcore right-wing watchers a little sprinkling of truth to keep them like, oh, yeah, these guys are talking some real truth. They're not like those Democrats, right? So there you go. That little sprinkle of truth. They got to give you like 10% truth, right? because that was true. The flu deaths weren't counted, and all those were just counted as COVID deaths. Doxological Thinker said JTA doing Will Sasso, doing AJ, doing Trump, world's best comedian right there. So we saw clips, and you can go watch. There's several different clips of Will Sasso practicing the impression, almost like he knew he was going to be doing this role. And so they had him practicing on camera for his role, had him reading stuff.
And that's why I've got to learn how to be Trump, or excuse, how to be Alex Jones on camera. Got to practice. Got to practice my vowels. E, I, O, U. Got to practice for my upcoming role. Gonna do an interview on Dudesy. Yeah. Here we go. I'm gonna do my my Trump practicing right now. Keep saying fucking Trump, dude, because you have Trump in your super chat. But yeah, they had Will Sasso basically practicing to be this character. And they had him practicing years ago, getting his voice just right and his mannerisms just right. And it ain't quite right, but it's close enough to dupe the normies. So just in case anyone missed it, let me go back to the Will Sasso impression, because I'm sure there's some people who probably just jumped in who might have missed this earlier.
2027.
He's finally...
Shit.
Excited for the apocalypse in 2027.
I don't think it's going to be an apocalypse. I think...
In American politics for 50 years is just a meat puppet being controlled by the real Hillary Clinton, a 16-foot tall pus demon.
16-foot tall pus demon.
That dines on the terrified screams of infants in the forest of lost souls. We had a beer and a laugh about the apocalypse.
So I showed this earlier. I wanted to show it again in case anyone missed it. This is where Will Sasso was doing his Alex Jones impression. And this was February 2024, just before the switcheroo was made, I guess. And you can hear the stuttering.
Hillary Clinton, who's been in American politics for 50 years, is just a meat puppet being controlled by the real Hillary Clinton, a 16-foot tall pus demon. That dines on the terrified screams of infants in the forest of lost souls. It dines on the terrified screams of infants in the forest of lost souls. We had a beer and a laugh about the apocalypse. We had a beer and a laugh about the apocalypse.
And then you go back to the Tucker Carlson interview. He was doing that quite a bit. So there you go. There's your direct connection between the Will Sasso impression. And then you go watch the Tucker Carlson interview from just last week. Several different examples of Alex Jones going, right? So there you go. There's some more evidence that it is Will Sasso.
On the terrified screams of infants in the forest of lost souls. We had a beer and a laugh about.
Right. So there you go. He was practicing for the role. He was given the role. He did that fucking stuttering thing too many times. I caught it. I've showed it to you guys. You can make of it what you will. I might be wrong. It might not be Will Sasso, but it is clearly not Bill Hicks. That's for damn sure. No, I can show you old clips of Alex Jones through like a 10-year span. And every once in a while he might, but not several times to where it becomes noticeable. It was a noticeable stutter in that Tucker Carlson interview. And there were several moments he was like trying to say so much stuff and then stutter a bunch of times in between. It just became very noticeable. And then in Will Sasso's impression, the very noticeable forced stutter. So when you watch them both back to back, it starts to pop out. And it's like, okay, if it ain't Will Sasso, then who the hell else would it be? All right, looks like I had another super chat just come in from William Ellick. Said these monsters exposed themselves so many times. Trump betrayed everyone many times, and they keep guzzling the Trump man juice straight from the tap. Yeah, there are Trumpers who will make excuses for Trump until the day he dies. You know, they'll probably keep kissing his ass after he leaves office, right? So the next president will most likely, almost guaranteed, be a liberal. So, for instance, if Bernie Sanders is the next president, then all the Trumpers are going to be like, oh, we had it so much better under Trump. Things are so much worse now under Bernie. Just like they said how much things got worse during Joe Biden's tenure as president. So according to every Trump tard, while Joe Biden was president, the country went to shit and got worse. So according to every Trump tard, it's currently better than it was a few years ago when Joe Biden was president. So even with the economy worse now than it was a few years ago, they'll tell you that everything's getting better and that it was better than when Joe Biden was president. So then when Bernie's president, let's say in 3 years from now, let's say Bernie's the next president, then they can bitch about how things are getting worse and how it used to be better. Every Trump tard is basically the same. If you say anything negative about Trump, they'll just assume you voted for Kamala and Creepy Joe. All right. So let's move on. We'll talk about a different Trump taint liquor. So when I was a kid, I remember when Chris Rock was a rapping rock musician who came up through the new metal genre, right? So about the time Limp Bizkit and Korn were blowing up, Kid Rock slipped in there as well. And he sold a shitload of records. And then when he became uncool in his own genre and music that he was making at the time, less people were into that at one point. Then he switched and became a country musician. So this is an industry plant, Kid Rock. And I'll show you what an industry plant does to stay relevant and stay popular. So Kid Rock, even though he's sold tens of millions of records and made a ton of money, you know, doing concerts and making music over the last several decades, right? Since the late 90s. Several decades, last 2 decades. Since the late 90s, Kid Rock has made a ton of money selling records and doing tours and whatnot. So he doesn't have any reason, from a rock star standpoint, there wouldn't be any reason to go hang out on Fox News with this lady right here. Lady, man, whatever it is. Like, why would you need to spend your free time hanging out with this lady just to talk smack about Democrats if you're a rock star who's made tens of millions of dollars, right? So a real rock star, a real legitimate musician, shouldn't have the want or desire later on in their career to go on television and just talk general shit about Democrats. But since Kid Rock is an industry plant, His whole character is owned and controlled. He's told what to do. His thoughts, his opinions are not his own. So they give Kid Rock a place to go. They give Kid Rock lines to say. They give him an outfit to wear. They basically have a handler that tells him where he needs to be and what he needs to do in order to stay in the public eye and stay relevant. And so Kid Rock has become one of Trump's most hardcore ass kissers. And if you go watch Kid Rock in concert, it's basically like a giant Trump rally at this point. So let's see what a rock and roll hip hop musician does in his later years.
Okay, Democrats, let's face it, they do not care about crime. In fact, it's all a big joke to them.
This is J.B. Pritzker reporting from war-torn Chicago. As you can see, there's utter mayhem and chaos on the ground. It's quite disturbing. The Milwaukee Brewers have come in to attack our Chicago Cubs. We've seen people being forced to eat hot dogs with ketchup on them. And our deep dish pizza, well, has gone shallow.
Not funny.
So it's a challenge to survive here in the city of Chicago, but there's no hellscape that I'd rather be in.
5 people were killed, 25 hurt in Chicago shootings just last weekend. A child was found shot to death at a park on the south side on Wednesday, but that's how the governor's reacting. Nothing screams out of touch like a Democrat mocking his own constituents and the conditions they're living in. During that same show, Jimmy Kimmel tried to claim that Antifa is something that conservatives just made up.
There's no Antifa. This is an entirely imaginary organization. There is not an Antifa. This is no different than if they announced they rounded up a dozen Decepticons. We've captured the Chupacabra, everyone.
Here with me, rock legend, Kid Rock.
There's Bobby. I don't know if this is the same Kid Rock that we started with. From what I hear, Bobby liked to do a lot of sniffy and smoky cracky. So I don't know if this is the same Bobby from Detroit that we started with, but the character of Kid Rock is now a staunch right-winger who cares more about politics and sniffing Trump's taint more so than about putting on rock and roll shows anymore. So he's more of a political figure rather than a rock musician these days.
Hey, Bobby, great to see you. Now, I know you're from Detroit, of course, which at one point was at the epicenter of the crime epidemic. But what's your thinking when you see Pritzker and others on the left who are just dismissing this issue that real people have to live with day in and day out?
Before Kid Rock starts to speak, I got a super chat that came in from William Ellick, who sent another super chat. And he says, I've been a fan since Flat Earth Asshole. You're great. Thank you very much, William Ellick, for the super chats tonight. And I'm glad that you've been rocking with me for about a decade now. I started the channel in 2016. So we have been around almost a full decade. And I started the channel as Flat Earth Asshole. Then I became Jake the Asshole. Now Jake the Awake. Still serving up truth. Still rocking with the flat earth. Not as much as I used to as far as making flat earth content, but I still will tell you that the earth is not a globe. Outer space is fake. NASA never went to the moon, and the earth is flat and level. Glad to see you're still here.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is idiots.
Well, first thing that comes to my mind is idiots. Great job, kid.
The left who are just dismissing this issue that real people have to live with day in and day out.
So check it out. What they're going to do here is just do some general trash talking about the left. Nothing very specific, just Kid Rock, we would like you to come on Fox News. We're going to do some general Democrat bashing. Are you interested, Bob?
Yeah, I got nothing else better to do. Yeah, I could be out doing shows. I could be enjoying my life as a rock star, but I want to talk about these idiots, Democrats. I just don't like them.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is idiots. Straight up idiots. I mean, I don't think there's actually anything that President Trump could do that these people, when he said it, in that speech that he had, I don't know, it was like a State of the Union or something, where he's like, he could save one of these people's mother from a burning building, and they could care less. They wouldn't give him credit. I mean, it's asinine to think that we can't come together on some certain things. And you know what really strikes me about this, speaking of Chicago, is like, who's he really trying to help out here? Black people. The South Side of Chicago, predominantly black. These are where these murders and shootings are taking place.
What Trump's doing, he's trying to save Chicago. You guys know who's in Chicago? Black people. Trump loves black people. That's why he's trying to save black people. You know who else loves black people? Me, Bobby, the kid. I'm from Detroit. Black people. So bringing the military to Chicago directly benefits black people. And these idiot Democrats, they just don't know Trump's out there trying to save black people. Oh, okay, Bobby. Yeah. Bring the troops to Chicago, which I don't believe for a second that troops are actually patrolling Chicago. But he's making it out like this is such a wonderful thing for the gangs. These gangs are killing people. So by bringing in these troops, we're going to save their life. We're going to save black people. It's a good thing.
Majority of them, they're not out in the suburbs or somewhere, and he wants to help these people. And God forbid we're still all, Nazi racists or whatever their narrative of the day is. It's asinine. It's completely just. It's some words that I'd rather not repeat on the air right now.
Well, they're constantly mocking the things that are, sacred, important to many Americans. So things that you sing about, you've spoken about, faith, family, love of country, important to your fans. So have you noticed any type of shift with young people?
Speaking about his fans and a shift with young people. So what they've done to keep this guy relevant is when the type of music that he originally made, like Ba with the Ba, 'cause I want to be a cowboy, baby, right? With his old style of music, when it went out of style, they reinvented him by having him team up with Sheryl Crow. I put your picture away, cut off my balls today. Ain't gonna sing Ba with the Ba today. I put my crack pipe down. Did a little line today. When I saw your face, I cried and thought of you. Right? So they had to reinvent fucking Kid Rock and make him more palatable when his music went out of style. That wasn't his fucking idea. It's not like Kid Rock's fucking crackhead ass was like, oh, I'm less popular now. I'm going to team up with Sheryl Crow and fucking go country. No, he was told to do that. They're like, okay, we're going to keep you in the public eye and keep you popular. We're going to ditch your old genre and we're going to go country and we're going to drape you in the American flag because country music fans are dumb enough that as long as you give them something that kind of sounds like country and you pretend that you're all about the United States and all about being a patriot, they'll totally buy it. So country music fans actually accepted this guy, right? So people who weren't necessarily into Kid Rock at first, once they saw he was singing with Sheryl Crow and going country, and that he was all about the American flag, and that he was a hardcore conservative, it opened him up to this new fan base. So he basically ditched his old fan base, rejuvenated his fan base with a bunch of conservatards. And then they went as hardcore with that as they could. So now it's to the point where the music is secondary to his political beliefs. They did the same thing with Ted Nugent. They made Ted Nugent a hardcore right-wing guy to where Ted Nugent's right-winger opinions are more popular than his old fucking songs, right? So why is a rock musician who's sold tens of millions of records hanging out with this lady just doing some general trash talk about Democrats? That's because this is part of his contract. So he's in the big club. He's an industry plant. He's not allowed to just sit back and smoke a big fat crack rock all day long. He's not allowed to just, live out the rest of his life being lazy. He has to stay in the public eye. It's part of his contract to continue performing. And so this is where the Kid Rock character is now. Like I said, I don't know if this is the same Bob we started with, but current Bob is just a straight up right-wing Trump taint licker. And if you were to go to his concert, it's basically like you're going to a Trump rally. You go watch Kid Rock perform, you're basically going to a Trump rally.
On this front, I know you interact with so many young people on a daily basis, especially when you're touring. Have you seen any changes?
I mean, clearly, since Charlie Kirk lost his life, was assassinated, you've seen a huge shift. We all have. It's undeniable. It's quite. It's both bittersweet.
It's. Oh, look, now he's starting to sound like Will Sasso doing Alex Jones. And he brings up Charlie Kirk, right?
It's terrible that something like this had to happen to really bring everyone. But it's even more so in the last several weeks. It's
young people on a daily basis, especially when you're touring. Have you seen any changes?
I mean, clearly, since Charlie Kirk lost his life, was assassinated, you've seen a huge shift. We all have. It's undeniable. It's quite. It's both bittersweet.
There you go. Still pushing the Kirk shit, right? Since Charlie lost his life, it's just so sad and bittersweet. It's a turning point. He's going to tell us it's a turning point for America.
It's terrible that something like this had to happen to really bring everyone back to their faith, and even someone like myself who's always been very spiritual. But
it's terrible that Charlie had to get killed to bring people back to their faith. You know, people found their faith because of Charlie dying. So it's good and it's bad.
It's even more so in the last several weeks. It's just when I find myself writing those songs, and I've been writing a gospel album for the last year.
So now he's going to go gospel. So he was rock hip hop, and then he went country, and then he went Trump-tard. Now he's going to go gospel. Yeah, you got to stay ahead of the curve, right? Adrian Chetwin said, has the current Alex Jones been recorded speaking in public? If not, then any footage is suspicious. So it depends, what you mean by public. Some people would consider, public, him hanging out with Tucker Carlson. But to my knowledge, he hasn't done any public events where regular people could just show up. So I don't think he's done anything recently where, me or you could show up and take a good look at him. Apparently, Will Sasso is taller than Alex Jones or even Bill Hicks, but you aren't going to know that if he's just doing, interviews on camera. If he's doing green screen and shit like that on camera, you're not going to notice the height difference, of course. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle any live appearances from Alex Jones from this point on. We'll have to keep our eye on that. And then look at any height differences. Like if they ever have Alex Jones and Trump on screen at the same time, we'll have to pay attention to who's taller than who. All right. Which now that I brought that up, they might not ever have those two dudes together in the same spot on camera. All right, so you notice Kid Rock has to bring up this event. They're still milking this event. What are we, like 2 months since this happened? And they're still milking this shit?
Working on a gospel album, so it's not really anything new, but it's, yes, I have a lot of faith and hope in the younger generation. But it seems these other people, like, you know, the more that we say we love our families, we love God, we love our country, these people on the far left hate it more. I just don't understand the rationale of hatred for someone that loves something.
Yeah, they make fun of Lee Greenwood or patriotic music or tradition.
Didn't he say in his first album, you can roll with rock or you can suck my dick? I'm like a porno flick, stuff like that, right? But now he loves God, right? You can roll with rock or you can suck my dick, right? And now he's like, you know, we love God and our country, and that's why I'm working on my gospel album. I got tired of telling people to suck my dick. Sheryl Crow doesn't want to sing any sad songs with me anymore, so now I'm just going to work on being a total religitard, magatard for the remainder of my career.
Traditions like that, they think they're hokey and stupid, and because they all think America's awful, rotten, and racist, so they don't think there's anything to celebrate. But speaking of music,
that's pretty easy. You know what's stupid? You know what's stupid is people who think they're cooler than art thou, that worry about their outfit every day, like, you know.
Yeah, you know what's just stupid? Like, just the freaking people that think they're cooler than thou out there.
What? You know what's not cool is what you just said. That's what's fucking not cool.
Music.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. You know what's stupid? You know what's stupid?
You know what's stupid?
See, it's almost like Will Sasso's doing an impression of fucking Kid Rock.
You know what's stupid? Like, Democrats are stupid. You know why?
It's people who think they're cooler than art thou.
They think they're cooler than thou art thou.
That worry about their outfit every day, like the.
They worry about their outfit every day. Oh, you mean like you? Look at your fucking outfit. Fucking white cowboy hat and a white Detroit Tigers baseball jersey and a white fucking wife beater and a fucking cross. Motherfucker talking about people who are uncool, worrying about their outfit, and then look at his fucking outfit, dude. Could you be any more goddamn hypocritical than that? Look what this motherfucker is wearing, right? He's like wearing what his handlers would consider to be a cool Kid Rock thing to wear at fucking 60 years old. Let's see. We have an aging rock star who went country. Now he's going gospel, who is more famous now for his political views than his music. Let's stick him in a white cowboy hat, white Detroit Tigers baseball jacket, because he's from Detroit. But let's go with his classic wife beater. It's like he still wears wife beaters. He's fancy now. And he's got the fancy Hollywood glasses, but he's country. And he still reps Detroit. And he still reps the fucking wife beater to show that he's got his trailer park vibe still going. Like, wow, that's amazing. And he's got the cross. The cross necklace too. This is like a fucking Hollywood costume for Kid Rock. Like if you wanted to be Kid Rock for Halloween, this is what you would need to wear. Quintessential Kid Rock costume. Doxological Thinker said, can you do Kid Rock doing Will Sasso doing Alex Jones doing Trump?
So, you know, these, you know what's stupid? These freaking Democrats, you think they're cooler than thou art there. And they're like trying to do an impression of Trump, who's obviously Will Sasso. And that's why he is stuttering so much. And that's why he has to stutter in between all the fast stuff that he's trying to say about Israel and Ukraine, about the war in the Middle East, and that's why when he called up Trump, Trump was like, "This is Kid Rock doing Will Sasso doing Alex Jones doing Trump now. This is." Really hard to do an impression of Trump when I'm also Will Sasso and Kid Rock and Alex Jones at the same time. I mean, how is this even freaking possible? What are you even asking me to do? Quite frankly, Trumptricity, blibbity blue, China, you're fired. I mean, how is it even possible? How do you want me to even do this? You can roll with Rock or you can suck my dick.
There you go. I don't even know how I'm supposed to combine all those guys together. It's like you're purposely trying to mess me up. But I think I gave it a good enough go that what I just did should be acceptable for a laugh, right? I gave it an attempt. Might not have been a home run swing, but it definitely was not a strikeout.
Because, folks, I want to be a cowboy baby with the top left down and the sunshine shining. A cowboy baby. Spend all my time in Hollywood and Vining, which, of course, you know, is a lot cooler than though out there art thou, the Democrats.
JP Crucino said Sasso, Trump, Kid Rock, Alex Jones. It's what I just did to the best of my ability. It's kind of hard. I was noticing Kid Rock in this interview had a little bit of Alex Jones Sasso energy. Oddly enough. And he even did the stutter. It's almost like Kid Rock drew his inspiration from Will Sasso doing his Alex Jones impression, who was talking about Trump.
You know, some of these rock singers that live here in Nashville, I won't say any names, or these, you know, chicks running around in their campuses with blue hair and, you know, their 5 nose rings.
Speaking of music,
you know, some of these musicians here in Nashville and these chicks with their blue hair. I'm not going to name any names, but I don't like these Democrats with their blue hair. Now I'm a typical right winger. This is what I do now. I used to be a rock singer, and then I went country, and now I'm writing a gospel album, and here I am on Fox News talking about how much I don't like ladies with blue hair so I can get all the hardcore magatards to love me. Like, okay, kid. That's totally what a rock musician does at his age. Hang out on Fox News and talk about how uncool ladies with blue hair are.
Running around in their campuses with blue hair and, you know, their 5 nose rings.
Speaking of music, though, I heard that you were just added to the Hondo Rodeo Fest in Phoenix next month. Friends there were talking about it. They want to get tickets. Tell us more about what's going on there.
Well, it's actually bittersweet because Cody Johnson had to drop out. I guess he had something happen. He has to get surgery. So sent a lot of love and prayers out to Cody Johnson. I'm a big fan. And they called me to fill in for his slot, and I'm playing with my friend John Party that night, who's my neighbor and I've been friends with for a long, long time. First time we're playing on a bill together, so I'm looking forward to it. But it's bittersweet because Cody can't do it.
Real bittersweet. They called me up. They said, Cody can't do it. Can you do it, kid? And I was like, man, Cody's my buddy. I'm real sorry to hear that. So it's a bitter pill, sweet, swallow the pill. And I like swallowing pills. So we're going to play together. All right, Bobby. So now we know Bobby's, still out there performing. We know the next place he's going to headline at the Rodeo Fest in Phoenix. Because nothing says rodeo like new age gospel country
Kid Rock, Bobby?
Well, I think also I noticed spending a lot of time in the SEC schools, Bobby, that they're just the whole move to country music and old style country music. I'm glad you're doing a gospel album because a mix of gospel and country is so powerful in the American musical tradition. But that's also making a comeback. So I think there's a lot of cool strains to what's happening now. I'm not saying it's all, President Trump or even Charlie Kirk, but I think this has been brewing for some time, and I think it's very encouraging.
Yes, the thing that I hope for, that I really pray for quite a bit, is that when this pendulum swings once again, that somehow it ends up a little bit right of center and not just, it just keeps going extreme left and extreme right, and it seems we just can't find this common ground that, most of us, even if we differ in our politics, we should be able to dig a little deeper and find things we have in common with one another and have a laugh, have a beer or something. We don't have to make everything so extreme. So hopefully.
I lay awake and I pray, and I just hope sincerely while I'm praying that that instead of things going to the left, the things go like to the right, because that's what I care about. My whole life is about talking about the right wing and being a right winger and sniffing Trump's taint. So I really hope and pray that everything going on in the world swings like a pendulum to the right and it stays away from the left, because the left is like, they're not cool. They're like holier than thou art thou. So, I'm trying to stay cool and swing to the right. And, I just hope that Trump could stay president forever, even though I know that's true. Even though I know it's not going to happen, it's a bitter sweet pill to swallow.
What a loser ass version of Kid Rock. Yeah, I don't even think that this is the same Kid Rock that we started with. I think the old Kid Rock probably smoked so much crack that he probably died, and then they replaced him with this new fucking Bobby with the big glasses. The stupid hat.
I will continue to pray for that, Miss Laura.
All right, Mr. Bobby, great to see you tonight, and I'll see you at the next concert.
Mr. Bobby. And she's going to see him at the next concert. Hey, look at this. Almost looks like an Adam's apple here. Look at this jaw. Ugh. Has this face been surgically enhanced? Looks like it. Anywho. Yeah, I don't even know if that's the same Bobby that we started with. So there's a story that Steve-O has told that Bobby came over his house and he brought this huge bag of cocaine with him and he dumped it out on top of a piano and that he cut lines with his hand. And he told Steve-O, we're just going to chip away at this. And he cut a bunch of rails with his hands. And the story is that him and Steve-O pecked away at this gigantic mountain of cocaine for several hours into the next morning. Just the two of them. No chicks, no one else. Just Bobby and Steve-O. Put on and had an all-night binger. Just doing rails. That's the story that they told. Now, I don't know if that's just the story to make them sound cool, but I can imagine Bobby and Steve-O, 8 hours into a binger, just rambling on. While Kid Rock's cutting lines with his hand. That's an actual story that they've told. I don't know whether that happened or not, but that's the story that they tell. Kreger said, she's a dude. Jake, do you think? Jake, what do you think? Yeah, that's why I pointed out the chin, surgically enhanced face, Adam's apple. So perhaps she's just a manly looking chick. Or perhaps she's a transformer more than meets the eye. All right. There you go. That's what Bobby's up to. Now let's take a look at a recent clip where they're still milking the Kirk incident. And they're even having these events at college campuses and stuff. And then they have guest celebrity speakers, such as Russell Brand. So they got Russell Brand pandering to right-wingers now. And the right-wingers are apparently flocking to go see him. And then when they listen to him speak, they clap for what he says.
Death is like kind of a wake-up call for everybody, and I think it's important to come to things like this now. It's important to see all the views.
I believe that we just need to be united. We're all going through the same struggle, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on. You can be red or blue. We're all going through the exact same things.
All right, so those were some University of Oklahoma students, part of the big crowds that lined up outside the Turning Point USA event on.
Oh. And it looks like I missed a super chat from a while ago that didn't have a message attached. But Ramsey Truth Bros 777 sent a super chat, and it didn't have a message attached. But yeah, Ramsey Truth Bros 77. Thank you very much, Ramsey Truth Bros 77. Sorry I missed your super chat when you first said it. Hopefully, or when you first sent it. Hopefully you're still watching so that you can hear me thanking you.
Campus last night, over 6,000 people showed up to honor Charlie Kirk, forcing the event to move to a larger venue.
6,000 people showed up at University of Oklahoma to listen to Russell Brand speak at an event about the Kirk shit.
People showed up to honor Charlie Kirk, forcing the event to move to a larger venue. Claudia Cowan is live. She's got more on all that for us. Hi, Claudia.
Good morning, Sandra. That's right. This Turning Point event became so popular, really.
Turning point. It's a turning point, you guys. Kirk being assassinated is a turning point. It's bittersweet. It's sad what happened, but it's bringing us all together so that we can have this turning point in America. That's what they're pushing, the narrative that they want to push. It's bittersweet, but they're bringing a bunch of people together under God, bringing Americans together so that they can recognize that this is a turning point for the nation.
At the last minute that they had to move it from a small field house to a much larger arena, and the headliner last night did not disappoint. As you mentioned, more than 6,000 people turned out to see British movie star, controversial comedian, and now devout Christian Russell Brand.
Wow, that's quite the title. British movie star and controversial comedian, now a devoted Christian.
House to a much larger arena, and the headliner last night did not disappoint. As you mentioned, more than 6,000 people turned out to see British movie star, controversial comedian, and now devout Christian Russell Brand.
Right? That's quite the title that she gave him.
Between quoting scripture and making jokes about his wild times in Hollywood, Brand led a kind of campus revival, talking about his own religious conversion and the need to fully embrace faith.
So check it out, y'all. 6,000 people. I don't know if that number's right, but I'm guessing there's a bunch of conservatards who actually showed up to listen to a British Nancy boy who's got a horse face, who's always been more of a pundit of the left, but now I guess he's swinging more to the right, pandering to the right now, who's collectively corroborating with the global premises. We need to come together in deliberation across this great nation in conjunction with these independent invertices, which we must divide and conquer deep within the global socio-economic megastatus, which we believe to be the underlying, undefying, indeterminate rationale for what appears to be relationship religiously, relentlessly reform for what we need to congruently, independently structure with deliberation and independent sees. Starting to run out of fucking long words. So yeah, the right wingers now are gonna sit and clap for the fucking British Nancy boy Hollywood actor, right? Because nothing says right-wing conservatism like a British Nancy boy, former Hollywood actor who's now more of a political fucking, I guess now he's leaning more towards the right. So yeah, they've turned this guy into more of a political figure. They've tricked people into thinking that he's anti-Hollywood. He doesn't care about Hollywood anymore. And now he's devoted to politics. As if there's a fucking difference. He's still on the world stage, putting on an act and duping people. So whether he's doing it in Hollywood or whether he's doing it here on this stage, he's still an actor on the world stage, duping people. So I would argue that Hollywood is in the dumps. So he's actually duping more people and getting more attention, being a political pundit now rather than an actor in Hollywood. People are more likely to pay attention to a guy like this and listen to a guy like this if he's speaking at an event like this rather than him being in any Hollywood movie.
Questions from audience members like this one also focused on Christianity.
What would you say to pastors who are scared to speak out, who are trying to walk the line because they don't want to offend either side?
There's a revival happening. Yeah. This isn't the time to be frightened. This is the time to no longer deny his holiness and his greatness. That not only is Jesus Christ real, the devil is real.
This is a time when we need to rally behind Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Everybody knows nobody loves Jesus more than me, except maybe you. That's why we must collectively, incongruently come together with one another so that we can focus our thoughts and our prayers as one under his holiness. We must give our loyalty and our faith to the man above, the man upstairs. This is the point where you clap for what I am saying because I am pandering to your Christian views. I'm making you all believe that I care about Christianity just by the fact that I am pretending to now be a devout Christian. You will now clap for me as I dupe you. Right? What a bunch of fucking idiots clapping for this. This guy right here with his Make America Great Again hat and a setup question.
And the devil has his hands on the levers of power, and we must be mindful of that.
The devil is real. I, of course, made a deal with him many years ago so that I could be as famous as I am now. What I am doing right now was because I made a deal with the devil. So therefore, I know firsthand the devil is real. Now, what I'm going to tell you is I no longer work for the Hollywood devil-like industry. Now I am a devout man of Christianity. That's why I am here for you, to dupe you and get you to clap for me, which is why we need to cheer right now collectively for the man upstairs, because we are all here because of him and his holiness. And the levers, these levers that the devil has been pulling, has been castrating society. And I am here to bring the balls back to Christianity. There you go. Started to harness my inner Russell Brand.
Along with Brand, conservative influencer Savannah Chrisley and Oklahoma Governor Gavin Stitt also took to the stage to carry on Charlie Kirk's mission of bringing open dialogue and political conservatism to college campuses. The This Is the Turning Point tour has played to packed houses ever since Charlie Kirk's...
Dude, look at that. I mean, if that's not AI, that's a fat crowd. Imagine being a person who's like, did you hear? Russell Brand's going to be at the university tonight. Let's drive out there and go watch him speak. Yeah. I mean, I care about what happened to Charlie so much, and it's a turning point in America. I want to go sit and listen to a former Hollywood actor from Britain who's now a devout Christian who can get me all rallied up and get me to clap and cheer for how much I enjoy listening to him speak. Like, who are these fucking people who are going to show up to the campus and listen to that shit? All right, looks like I missed the super chat from my boy, Kevin Arnold from the Wonder Years. The Kevin Arnold. What would you do if Kevin Arnold sent me a super sticker? Would you sing the Wonder Years song theme? Yes, I would, and I'll sing you a song. I'll try not to sing out of key, yeah. Oh, yeah, Kevin Arnold, he loved Winnie Cooper. Oh, yes, he really loved Winnie Cooper. And Wayne was his older brother who beat him up. Yeah, and he gave him lots of noogies now. All right, getting carried away with my Kevin Arnold nostalgia trip. Whenever Kevin Arnold sends me a super chat, I always make a joke about the Wonder Years. It's like a ongoing joke between me and him. All right.
Assassination in Utah 5 weeks ago, starting with a rotating cast of conservative luminaries who say Kirk's message has only been amplified by his death. Tour stops in the weeks ahead include more high-profile speakers. Erica Kirk and J.D. Vance will headline at Ole Miss on...
It's a fucking tour talking about a guy's staged performance death. We're talking about a theatrical performance. And so they're doing a stadium tour, basically, right? A college arena tour, right? And are they a band? Is this like a band going on tour? Is this like a comedian going on tour? No! It's a group of people talking about a theatrical event that took place. Yeah, you can draw thousands of people, apparently, just talking about an event that went down that was sad, right? And you can turn it into a positive event by rallying people behind Jesus and telling them how this is a turning point for America. So yeah, if you want to go on tour and sell out arenas across the nation, all you got to do is have somebody die and then get people who knew that person to talk about it and how it was a turning point. So this is what fills arenas now. And you're going to get guest speakers like Erica Kirk. Ooh! J.D. Vance. Ah! Benny Johnson. Ooh! Eric Trump. Oh! Laura Trump. Oh! And Tommy Tuberville. Ooh! Yeah. Screw going to see your favorite band. This is the show that people want to see, right? People don't go watch their favorite comedian. Now they go watch Erica Kirk and J.D. Vance talk about how sad they are about Charlie and how it's a turning point for America.
On October 29th, the day before Kirk's accused assassin Tyler Robinson makes his next court appearance in Provo, Utah, Sandra Robinson faces the death penalty, and he has yet to enter a plea. Back to you.
Claudia Cowan on all of that for us. Claudia, thank you.
Hey, everyone.
There you go. So you got right-wingers now lining up to listen to what was a left-winger. Wasn't Russell Brand always more of a lefty? So I guess he's switched sides now, and the righties have accepted him. Clown world, clown show. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am breaking down the bullshit just for you. All right. So there you go. I made it through the topics I wanted to talk about. So now I can take questions from the chat or statements from the chat and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about from this point on. Key Buckley said, meat puppets. Cesario Serrato said, Charlie Tuna Circle Jerk Kirk Hoax. Yes, Tuna Circle Jerk. And Benny loves the Johnson. You tell him, Cesario. Wee Tulo says he changes the world by trolling college kids. Crazy. I'll bet you out in Oklahoma, that's like a big deal. You hear who's coming to town? Russell Brandt's coming to the University of Okilo. You know, it's about an hour's drive from here. I think we should drive out and go see Russell Brandt. You know, he's a right-wing Christian now. Yeah, he used to be a Hollywood actor, but now he ain't like that no more. Now he's a hardcore right-winger like us. So let's go watch him speak about Charlie being killed so we can clap for him. Talk about how this whole thing's a turning point and how it's like bittersweet and stiff. It's sad that Charlie died and all, but since it's bringing us all together for this turning point, there's some positivity coming out of it, you know. Jamie 0002 says, did anyone protest this weekend? My audience is not the type that's going to show up to No Kings protests. You're in the wrong saloon if you're looking for protesters. So the people who show up to the No Kings protests are going to be paid protesters, which is definitely not my audience, or useful idiots who are left-wingers, which is also not my audience. So it would be pretty damn rare that anyone who showed up to the No Kings protests would also be here listening to me. Those are like completely different groups of people, basically. I think it's really lovely and quite amazing, the show of support that we got in Oklahoma over the weekend. You see how many people showed up to honor Charlie Kirk? Over 6,000 wonderful people. You know, we have some of the greatest people in this country. And of course, they are supporting a great man in his time of need. Now, this is a turning point for all of America. And of course, the tide is going to turn completely when I implement Trumptricity into all of your homes. You're going to see the look on China's face. When you see the look on China's face, that's when you're going to know they're fired. We're going to save billions and billions and trillions of dollars. It's going to be quite amazing. Canada just called. They want in on Trumptricity. Too late. Too late for you, Canada. Canada is still going to be using old, crusty, dusty electricity, while the rest of us here in America are going to be using Trumptricity. That'll teach Canada to do those things that they've been doing. That'll teach Canada. All right. Shady said, didn't Russell Brand do some graping? Now has to do this. Yeah, so celebrities will do humiliation rituals. Their name will be dragged through the mud, and then they'll rebuild them up again. So one of the things they do with celebrities oftentimes is like tear them down, build them up, tear them down, build them up, sort of thing. So yeah, they've basically rebuilt Russell Brand to be a right winger who is a devoted Christian, apparently, who's worthy of going to see live at a college campus, worthy of your claps and cheers. Because, of course, I want to bring you as close as possible to His Holiness without you actually having to die in order to meet Him. In fact, one of the ways you can be even more closer to Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, is by coming to hear me speak at a college campus near you. Yes, nothing brings you closer to God than listening to a Hollywood actor from Britain. Of course. They did. Canada personally called me. They were on the phone just the other day, literally begging me for some of that sweet, sweet Trumptricity action. And of course, I told them, Canada, you're fired. I personally fired Canada. You won't be hearing much from now on. They're one of the most irrelevant countries. In fact, they've been piggybacking off of America's success for basically the entirety of their tenure as a country. Mexico called. They were like, can you please stop building the wall? And I was like, actually, we're going to make the wall even taller, and we're going to put extra barbed wire at the top. We're going to have electric barbed wire to keep the illegals from coming over the wall. And of course, the electric barbed wire is going to be run with nothing but the finest Trumptricity, of course. We're going to have 1 trillion kilowatts running through the electric barbed wire. We're going to call it Trump wire. Electric barbed wire, of course, run by Trumptricity, is now going to be called Trump wire. And then we're going to outfit all of the prisons. This is a new top secret thing that I'm telling everyone about right now. As far as anyone knows, this is unheard of in the prison industry. We're going to replace barbed wire, old crusty dusty razor wire. We're going to get rid of it, and now we're going to have Trump wire, which of course will have Trumptricity coursing through it. It will electrocute anyone who tries to escape in milliseconds, trilliseconds, billiseconds. All right. You know, I caught a lot of flack when me and Elon were becoming best buds. Ever since I hung out with him and I gave him head inside of a Cybertruck, people started to look at me funny, started looking at me strangely. They started to crinkle their nose at me. That's when I realized that my popularity was in danger. So I kicked him to the curb. I told him to take his Cybertrucks that were quite frankly falling apart and to get the hell out of the White House. I will no longer be riding on the D of Elon Musk. And then you see what happened to him. He started to lose billions and billions and billions. Being my best friend, of course, will rise you to the heights of fame where I'm at. And quite frankly, no one deserves to be at this height of fame other than me. So I, of course, kicked him to the curb. And you see his popularity basically has fallen off of a cliff. And all of my wonderful MAGA supporters, they realized that I made the correct decision once I got rid of Elon. It was one of the greatest moves that I've done since I've been president, getting rid of Elon, of course, kicking him out of the White House. He was losing quite a bit of popularity when he was best buddies with Elon. I was wondering how long they were going to keep that going. So yeah, they were like, okay, we're losing like MAGA support overnight because Trump is hanging out with Elon all the time. They're getting a little too close. Let's go ahead and have the scripted breakup now. The MAGAs will forget all about him riding on Elon's dick for a good couple months. He ain't friend with Elon no more. He was friends with Elon Musk, and then he realized Elon Musk is a lousy Democrat, and he always has been. So he kicked Elon Musk to the curb. It was one of the best decisions that Trump ever done made. I was so glad to see him get rid of Elon Musk. When I saw Trump riding around in them cyber trucks, I knew he was making a bad decision for America. So when he kicked Elon Musk to the curb, that's when I knew the real Trump was back in charge. He pulled his head out of his ass, started making good decisions for this country. Derek Wire says something brought them back together. Yeah, it's called the World Stage Script. Get everyone all outraged and then make them think everything's okay again. And then repeat the process over and over again. Keep them distracted. Keep them stupid. Keep them begging for Epstein files. If you be really nice and extra retarded, we'll give you the Epstein files. Who's a big, huge tard who wants the Epstein files? Me. I want the Epstein files. I'm a tard. Give me them. Give me the Epstein files. Who's the biggest tard muffin here? I am. I want the Epstein files. Okay, admit you're the most gigantic tard muffin who ever lived, and maybe we'll give you the Epstein files. We're the biggest tard muffins who ever lived. Please give us the Epstein files. Please, Big Daddy government, who made up all this shit to begin with. Please give us the Epstein files. Don't you like that? The people who beg for the fucking Epstein files from the government. People who are like, and they still won't give us the Epstein. They still won't release the Epstein files. I wish they would just release the Epstein files. Okay. If you guys are extra huge tards this next month, and you guys promise to be more retarded than ever, we'll give you the Epstein files next month. But you have to promise that you're going to be more retarded than you've ever been. Do you promise? Yes, we promise. We'll be more retarded than we have ever been. We'll be twice as retarded as we were last month. Please just give us the Epstein files. You're not quite retarded enough yet. We're going to need to wait until you show signs that you guys are indeed double retarded as you were last month. Then maybe we'll talk about giving you these Epstein files that you want so much. Right? It's like nobody stops and goes, hey, you guys are the ones who made up all this Epstein file shit. So why the fuck should we want you to release this fake shit that you made up to us? Right? I'm like the only guy that points out that they're the ones who made up all the fake Epstein shit. None of you guys have been to Epstein's Island. None of you guys have ever seen Epstein do anything to any kids. And you've never seen Trump with your own eyes do anything to any kids. So a still shot of Epstein or Trump, touching a young girl's shoulders, that's not enough, right? So people let their own imaginations run wild with what they think Trump did and what they think Epstein did. But all they've ever really given you is a few still shots. There's no actual video where Trump is having intercourse with someone underage. There's no video of Epstein having intercourse with somebody underage on his island along with Trump, right? But they can get you to let your imagination run wild and think about all that shit in your own head. And while you're doing that, they'll get you to beg for these Epstein files to be released to confirm that shit that you're making up in your own fucking head that they gave you. Not much different than making up shit in your own head about what happened at P. Diddy's parties, right? So they give you the notion of Epstein doing stuff on his island, tell you that like all this stuff is, all this information is within these files, and maybe if you're a good enough slave, maybe they will release this information to you. If you show that you are a worthy enough retarded slave, perhaps they will bestow upon you this information in which you begged for. Meanwhile, I'm one of the only dudes like, fuck you and your made up Epstein shit. Lemming in a shiny metal box said, Sir Jake, the impressions are spot on tonight. Every day I drive past a huge state lottery billboard with millions of dollars awarded. Are lottery winners actually shills? I mean, it's almost a guarantee that most all the lottery winners are going to be somehow connected back to the lottery scam. I mean, the notion of like one lucky winner getting all that money is just ridiculous. And then when you look at the amount of people who've supposedly won the lottery that spent it all and went broke, it's right up there with all these athletes who supposedly made tens of millions of dollars and spent it all and went broke, which leads you to the conclusion that the money ain't real. So somebody within the crooked lottery organization, a friend of a friend, a family member who's connected to the whole scam, will get to be the scripted winner. And they can even have them look like they've got a bunch of money by having them live in a bigger house, drive a nicer car. But do they really have all those millions of dollars that they claim that they won? I don't think so. So I think the lottery is a big giant scam for sure. And there may have never even been any real winners for all we know. Now, I know there are some low-level winners that win, $10,000 on a scratcher ticket. That's different. I'm talking about the ones who win, millions of dollars. Not people who win, a low-level prize for only a few $1,000 or whatever. Because I'm sure some of you guys might have a family member who won $5,000 on a scratcher or something. That's different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the big Powerball lottery. So yeah, it's a total scam, and I doubt there's any real winners. Shady Davy D said, I will have footage of underground tunnels for travel on my YouTube channel tomorrow. I visited it today. Yeah, that's like one of those subjects where you could probably find videos of what looks like underground roads, but trying to convince anybody that like that's an underground tunnel that the government uses and they smuggle, UFOs and aliens and drugs through there or whatever, that's the part you'll just be speculating. So you might find a video of what looks like an underground road, but you personally haven't been able to go down there and check it out. You've never drove the underground road. So then you would just have to speculate where it's at and what the government does with that underground road, right? Because where did the footage of the underground road come from? And how can you trust that source? So you have to figure any underground road footage is going to be purposely leaked by a shill, more than likely. So I'd be interested to see what you got. In a literalist said, baby oil and expensive pizza in underground tunnels. I mean, what else would they be smuggling down there besides pizza and baby oil? I mean, that's the two key ingredients to having a banger party. I mean, go ask Puffy. Hey, Puffy, if you were going to throw a really fun banger of a party, what are the two key ingredients? Oh, that's easy. Pizza and baby oil. And Justin Bieber booty hole, of course. The three key ingredients to having an awesome good time at your party: pizza, baby oil, and Justin Bieber's booty. Just ask Puffy. Puffy McDaddy Doodle. He knows. I'm really upset to hear that P. Diddy is going to get off with basically a slap in the wrist for all his crimes. He literally put baby oil on his big black penis and he put it inside of Justin Bieber's butthole, which makes me really upset. This is me being really upset right now. I'm basically a dime store knockoff Keanu Reeves. I get 1 million views for telling you how upset I am about what P. Diddy did to Justin Bieber. I really wish he would have got more prison time, but instead he got just a slap on the wrist. I'm going to have my friend Ass Mongold do a reaction video. Did you guys hear about what happened with Puff Daddy? I mean, this is insane. This is almost as crazy as the Epstein files, you guys. He's not going to get any more prison time? There you go. There's Ass Mongold's reaction. If only I could do a Ass Mongold reaction of my own and get my own 1 million views. I mean, he gets 1 million views for doing that reaction. How come I can't get 1 million views for doing as good of a reaction as Mongold? That just goes to show you, it's not the reaction that gets the views. It's because he's an industry plant. Clearly, I react just as good, if not better, than Ass Mongold. But I don't get anywhere near 1 million views in 24 hours. So therefore, Ass Mongold is definitely a shill. It's proof. Let me tell you something, people. There is no such thing as the Charlie Kirk. It's just a dumb shit to please the masses. Let me tell you something, people. Charlie Kirk, he was an android. In fact, it was even worse. You want to know what Charlie Kirk? Let me tell you something, people. It's just a dumb shit to dupe the masses. Charlie Kirk was an animatronic android. He was not a real man. Never was a real man. In fact, he come from the land beyond the ice wall, where they make these animatronic robots, people. You need to wake your ass up right now. Hit you with the bam. I'm gone. Do you believe this, people? Do you believe what they're telling you? You need to wake your ass up right now. Hit you with the bam. He's an animatronic robot, people. There you go. It's been a while since I did what's his face? For the glory of Christ, says Fire Stream. Well, I'm thinking that is a compliment, so I will take it as a compliment. This is a fire stream. That's like something you would say to compliment the stream, right? That this is a fire stream. Actually, it's a terrible stream. In my opinion, it's one of the worst streams Jake the Awake has ever done. In fact, you're fired. This stream is going to get you fired. Remember when I used to be on the Apprentice and I used to fire people? I would look them right in the beady little eyes and I would say, you're fired. That's what I'm going to do in this stream. Jake making fun of my dear friend Alex Jones. This is the stream where he gets fired. You hear that, Jake the Awake? You're fired. You're no longer welcome here on YouTube. And quite frankly, you're no longer welcome here in the greatest country who ever existed. Why don't you go to Mexico? They called. In fact, they said they don't want you either. What am I even talking about? Now I'm just being stupid. Just making shit up. Yeah, Mag Bitter Truth. I haven't listened to Mag in a while. So I just randomly thought about him and I was like, oh, I'll do my impression of Mag because I haven't done it in a while. And then that just reminded me that I haven't watched one of his videos in shit, I don't know, maybe a year or longer. So I don't even know what his opinion is about the Kirk shit. It might be that he thinks that it's an animatronic robot for all I know. Enrico Suave said, Ralphie is so quiet. Yeah, he's over here sleeping. He's laying on the floor on his blanket, sleeping, waiting for me to finish up so I can take him out for a walk. MFB Life said, no more hat, Jake. Oh, no, no, no. It's right there. In fact, every once in a while, I can bring it back and put it on. It was one of those things where, like, I want to be able to do streams without it and it not matter one way or the other. Like, I can be funny with the hat. I can be funny without the hat. The hat doesn't make the man. But if there's people out there who miss it and want me to bring it back from time to time, here it is. Me wearing the hat again. I don't know. I think when I put it on top of my light stick over here, this LED lamp that I bought from Amazon, when I put it on top, it just seemed like it belongs there, right? If it's not on my head, then it'll be on top of this LED lamp. Speaking of, we'll switch up the LED lamp. We'll go with the voice-activated LED lamp. Bout. 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 Boom. 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 So rough, so tough out here, baby. So rough. Ooh, let me tell you, people. Let me tell you now. Let me tell you, people. They sure love playing rough. Oh, yeah. There you go. Little voice activated lamp for you. Gotta love it. Not bad for a $30 lamp from Amazon, huh? It's got all these different options. Right, and I can speed it up. See? Pretty cool, huh? So there you go. Steve Stanislow or Stainslow says the hat makes things pop. Like me. Makes me pop. Makes me pop my top. Pop my top. Get it? So yeah, I don't even know what to decorate with. So this like space behind me, I've wondered like what should I buy and put there? You know? Because I told myself, oh yeah, I'm gonna redecorate and I'm gonna like put some new stuff up behind me. So I bought the LED lamp, but then I couldn't figure out what else I wanted to decorate with. So I have these other lights that I can control with this one right here, right? If I want it to like flash and stuff like that, or if I just want it to be one color, you know, any color I want. Right? So I like being able to control the colors, but I don't know like what to put up. You know what I mean? Like if I should have like a shelf with stuff on it behind me. So I've thought like, well, I could buy like some like racks to hold my guitars and stuff, you know, but I haven't done that. So I'm still like wondering what exactly to put behind me, how I want to decorate. So my options are still open. I'm just not really a guy that has much of an eye for decoration. I'm always more worried about entertaining you guys by being funny and saying and doing stuff to keep your guys' attention. That the background to me is like secondary. But I've seen a lot of the big name YouTubers. They have their shelves behind them and shit on the shelves and different things to keep people's attention. So I've often wondered, you know, what I should put back here, but I haven't been able to make up my mind. Deadbeat says, Eye of Horus with a knife stabbed in it. Interesting. That might look cool. Somebody might take that symbolism to mean a certain something other than it just being decoratory, though. People might think I'm trying to convey some sort of symbolism. So I don't know if I want to do that. And yet posters of a band I like. So if I was to put up like a Blue Oyster Cult poster, that would to me just be kind of lame. Like band posters are like just old and lame, right? For a guy my age, 42 years old, to put up a band poster in the back would just be kind of stupid. Yeah, I thought about it, but I don't know. It's kind of like what teenagers do, right? A teenager who lives with their parents will put up band posters. I'm a 42-year-old man and I rent this office. Do I really want to put up a BOC poster? Yes, I have thought about getting a green screen. That was actually part of the plan. It's just if I get a green screen, then I have to like figure out what to do with it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to run these streams and then try and put stuff on it behind me, then I have to have a different setup than what I'm using now. And then what am I going to put behind me, you know? And so I've never learned to use a green screen setup. So I guess I'm dragging my feet because I've never used one before. And so I've never like shot a video where I can like be green screened in front of something. So that would be a whole new option for me if I was to buy one. So it's definitely something I should get and look into using. Almond Scented said, a big poster that's eclectic style, a white rabbit statue, a hookah. A hookah? See, I don't smoke a hookah. These days, I just take a couple puffs of weed every maybe 4 hours or so. Speaking of, when the stream ends, I'll probably take a few puffs. So yeah, I don't smoke hookah. I don't smoke any sort of tobacco product at all. I'm down to just hitting the glass pipe with a little nugget inside, maybe, I don't know, 5-6 times a day. Trying to cut down my cannabis consumption to where, well, I'm still smoking every day, but like less every day, so that I'm not super tired. Yes, I like mushrooms. I like edible varieties and I like psychedelic varieties. For sure. The only varieties I don't like are the ones that will make you sick and kill you. I don't like to eat mushrooms that kill me. But I do like to eat the ones that make me feel funny and laugh. And I do like to eat the regular edible mushrooms as well. I think they can be quite tasty. I think mushrooms can be really tasty when you saute them in butter. So like portobello mushrooms, for instance, saute them in some butter until they're nice and soft. Delicious. Where do I find mushrooms? Well, there's all sorts of different mushroom varieties that grow out in the wild. But if you're talking about where would you find psychedelic mushrooms, the best way to get a hold of those would be to grow them yourself. So what you're going to want to do is order a psychedelic mushroom spore syringe. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I ordered one many years ago, and it comes in a box inside of a tube like this. And then inside the syringe is water and spores. So this one's got spores in there. You can even see the spores inside this one even. It's like they're black spores and it's like clumps. See? So what you do is you inoculate your mushroom jars that have grow media inside. So there's different ways to grow mushrooms. One of the easiest ways to grow psychedelic mushrooms is on brown rice and vermiculite. I think I got one around here somewhere. Here's one. I knew I had one around here somewhere. So you put ground up brown rice and vermiculite into your jars, and then you have to pressure cook it. So you pressure cook brown rice and vermiculite, and then you, once it cools off, you shoot the spore water from the syringe into the jar, and then you wait for a month for the spores to take over the jar and make one big hunk of mycelium. And then when this is one big hunk of mycelium, you take it out of the jar and you put it into a fruiting chamber, which you can make out of a plastic Tupperware. And so I'll show you what a picture of this looks like. All right, so this is what it looks like when it's growing in a jar. You grow the mycelium mold, and it looks like this. See? It starts off as these like white splotches with these little striations, I guess you call it. It's like little pieces like of stringy mushroom mycelium, and it takes over the entire jar. And so once you got the entire jar taken over by the mycelium, then you take out the mushroom cake and you fruit it. See? So when it first starts, it looks like this. And you want it to take over the whole jar. Then I'll show you what it looks like when you're fruiting them. All right, and then you take your mycelium cake out of the jar. Once it's fully colonized, you put them inside your Tupperware with some perlite at the bottom and some water. And you let them sit inside the Tupperware, and you got to air it out like twice a day with fresh air. You can either do it by hand, just like waving the plastic top at the cakes, or you can even have a timer and a little like machine that puts air inside there for you. So you can set it all up to happen electronically, or you can do it by hand and just fan them. But anyway, after like a couple weeks, the cakes will start growing mushrooms. Looks like this. Right? See, so they start by growing little pinheads, and then the mushrooms get bigger and bigger. Yes, this is what it looks like when a cake starts to grow mushrooms. And then you pick them all off, and then you can rehydrate the cake by putting it back into the jar, filling up the jar with water, and then put it back into the tank, and you'll get a second flush. You can usually get like 4 or 5 flushes before they stop producing mushrooms. So what you're going to want to look up here on YouTube is the PF Tech mushroom growing method, or brown rice mushroom growing method with the jars. There's several videos that show you step by step how to do it. So anyway, once you grow your own mushrooms and you have your own fresh mushroom, you can cut the head off of a mushroom and create a spore print. And then with the spore print, mix the spores with water and get your own syringe. So then you can make your own syringe and repeat the process. So basically, once you order one syringe from a company and then you grow the mushrooms, now you have your own spores, and you never need to order any of them theoretically ever again, unless you want to grow a different variety. So yeah, I ordered the spores years ago, and then whenever I want some, I just grow some, you know? Now, I'm not trying to commit a federal felony or whatever by mailing drugs to some guy named the Last Trump when I just totally explained how you could grow them yourself. If you just listen to what I told you and look up the videos online and the information online, you could literally get started by ordering the spore syringe. And then when it comes, you follow the directions, you grow your own mushrooms, you'll have a bunch. And then when you start to run low, you just grow some more. So the process takes like, once you inoculate the jar, it takes like a month for this to turn into a hunk of mycelium, and then maybe a week or so for the mushrooms to start popping off. So like in a month and a half, you could have a big ass jar full of mushrooms. And then you also want to dry them out because they're going to be wet. So you're going to want to dry the mushrooms out, put them in front of a fan, and let them dry out for a few days, so that then you can store them inside of a jar and they won't go bad. If you don't let them dry out and you keep them wet, they will eventually rot and go bad after like a week. So anyway, the whole process is like a month and a half, right? It's easy. There's no smell. You can do it in the corner of your bedroom, corner of your closet, in a cardboard box. So even if you live in a place where you don't want people to know that you're growing them, right? You can grow a small batch for yourself, and there's nobody will have any fucking clue, because you're dealing with brown rice and jars. The mycelium doesn't create any sort of odor or smell. So, and then there's videos to show you step by step how to do it all. So yeah, anybody who wants them, I recommend you just grow some, and then you'll be the guy that has them, and then you can hook your friends up. I'm not recommending you guys become drug dealers, but if you ever did want some, rather than wait for someone else to sell them to you or mail them to you, this is all you need to get going. Yeah. Deadbeat said, I'll eat 8 to 10 grams of golden teachers and get the same effect as 4 or 5 grams of envies. Yeah, the penis envy mushrooms are more potent than other psilocybin varieties. I've noticed most psilocybin varieties, whether it's Cambodian or Texas Gulf or Ecuadorian or Mexican or B+ or whatever, all the psilocybin mushrooms, the cubensis variety, are very similar in potency and looks. But the penis envy mushrooms, definitely the potency and the visuals are increased for sure. So the penis envy mushrooms are a little more bang for your buck. And yes, they're called penis envy mushrooms. I'm not the one who created them or named them, but they do resemble penises. And they are stronger than other cubensis varieties. Cheddar Bomb said, I used to eat a lot at once. Now I'm 47 and microdose here and there. Yeah, I'm more of a microdose guy as well. In fact, the only time I will eat a bigger dose is like if I'm going to go watch a Blue Oyster Cult concert, or if I'm going to have like a all-night bender when I'm in Santa Cruz. Like if I'm in Santa Cruz and I want to like stay up all night, then I'll eat like an eighth and walk around the town and go eat pizza and then smoke a bunch of bowls, and I'll usually end up drinking, which is usually what makes it into a bad situation the next day when I wake up. So the problem I have is if I start tripping out, then I'll want to smoke a bunch of bowls and drink. And then when I mix the alcohol, that's when I'll usually end up drinking too much and making myself sick. So I have to watch it, because my mushroom bone's connected to my weed bone, and my weed bone's connected to my booze bone. So I got to watch it. But yeah, microdosing is good times. Cheddar Bomb said, Jake the Awake for sure. I might eat a handful if I'm out camping or go see a good show. Yeah, you know, mushrooms are different than other drugs. It's like a natural growing thing that's like alive, and the high that you get from it is different from any other substance. Now, it does have similarities to acid, but the high doesn't last anywhere near as long if you just eat like a small handful or a microdose. Hi, puppy. You want to go outside? Is Wealthy, the Pippi. Hi, baby. Use my good boy, Wealthy. He's like, I want to go outside. I want you to shut up so I could go outside and go pee-pee. You go outside. You. All right, y'all. I think we've been on here for 3 hours. That's probably good enough for tonight. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Looks like I caught up on super chats. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and Ralph on another Truther Tuesday. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you could, please hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. It's quick, it's easy, and I would really appreciate it. Show your love with some thumbs up smashage. And I will see all of you guys in the next video or the next stream. If you haven't watched my top 10 most scripted NFL plays, I uploaded that earlier today. So check out the top 10 if you haven't watched that yet. And thank you guys for hanging out with me. You guys are awesome. I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or the next video or whenever. Peace out. Good night. Bye-bye.